Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shah Barakatah.
H.O.I.
To all my brothers and the sisters that keep the law and the faith.
Till the chariot flies.
On the highways, byways, pushing commandments to all of my people. In a place where they never were equal. And the people who run it are evil. Shooting us down in the street, poison the food that we eat, poison the water we drink, making it hard to think the devil is playing for keeps. They get the money and go, leaving us stuck on the bottom. Soon as they spot him, they got him. I tell you the devil is rotten. I know that them niggas is scheming and plotting. It won't be forgotten. Yahweh is watching. Soon as he give us the power, my nigga, you know that we getting it poppin'. Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shah made my...
Y'all gotta do your own reading and studying though, okay? Alright, because if we tried to cover everything, we'll be here till the sun come up. Because it's vast, vast history. So you have to read and study on your own about the Hanukkah Feast of Dedication, the history, everybody you read about in the story, look them up, look up their works or whatever. We'll quote a few things here and there, but you gotta do your own research. Okay? So this way the because we can stay straight in the scriptures and just break it down, but it's good to know the history behind what was going on at the time, the political things that was going on, and just the history of the people and the characters that you're reading about to give you a better sense of the scripture. That's the beauty of the Most High's word. It can break itself down. We can stay right in the scriptures and break Hanukkah all the way down. But then, going into the history of Alexander, Antiochus, Judas Maccabees, Matthias, that's a whole other level to give you more of that, better understanding of the whole situation, right? Of the whole story and how things went down. So you got to do your own reading, all right? And the scriptures tell you the heart of the righteous studieth to answer. And it says, study to show thyself approved. All right, so you gotta get into this thing on your own. We can teach you all day and night, but you gotta do your own research. You gotta read for yourself too. A lot of times Israel is lazy, sluggish. You don't want to sit down and read, and then you're asking, like I always say, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years in the truth. You're asking the same questions that you should have learned, or at least the basic stuff, because you're being lazy and not reading on your own. All right, or you're watching the videos, but you're not really retaining anything. It's just like, it's just playing in the background because I like to hear it. No. Oh, what's that scripture you said? Blah, blah, blah. Just read it, study it for yourself. Fine? All right, so that's the beauty of our history and everything. What the Most High shows us, and learning about yourself, learning about your nation, and coming back to your nationality and your true knowledge and your true history. All the garbage you've been taught in school, all the garbage you taught, Negroes got but don't know 10 scriptures. So all that, it filters all that nonsense out and you get a good, righteous understanding of your history. Okay? All right, so matter of fact, give me that. Give me 2 Timothy 3 and 15. 2 Timothy 2 and 15. Salakia. 2 Timothy 2 and 15. I was talking to a Amalekite woman in California, in Westwood, or one of the Jew neighborhoods out there in LA. And I was breaking down the history. I was just saying basic stuff to her about the Hanukkah, and she was confounded because she thought she knew something. I was like, no, blah, 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 about Judas, this and that. Real basic stuff. And she didn't even know, she was confounded. She was like, after a while, she was just quiet because she realized she didn't know a damn thing. And that's not to be proud or nothing, but Esau has lied on us for too damn long. It's time for us to know our true history and nationality. But you can have a conversation. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. And she was confounded. She was just like, after a while, she tried to challenge me, but I was like, you don't know a damn thing. It was in my mind. You know what I'm saying? But, they go by a particular curriculum that they're taught from the synagogue and from, they come up and their youth, how they're taught. So they know a lot, but they know a lot just of what they're taught. They don't know a lot of truth. They know a lot of Jewish tradition and folklore like we spoke about earlier. I mean, last night. Okay? So they know a lot, but they know just a lot of what they're taught. You know, and they know Torah, they know scripture and things of that nature, but, you know, when it comes to the true knowledge, they don't know a damn thing. You know what I'm saying? Right, give me that, 2 Timothy 2:15.
This is the book of 2 Timothy, chapter 2, and verse 15.
Go ahead.
Study to show thyself approved.
Right, the scriptures say study to show yourself approved. Go ahead.
Unto the Most High.
Unto the Most High. Come on.
A workman that needeth not to be ashamed.
Right, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed. Read.
Rightly dividing the word of truth.
Rightly dividing the word of truth. All right, so people say, well, man, every question we ask or every time we say, y'all got a scripture for it. You damn right.
God.
Rightly dividing the word of truth.
That's right.
All right, read it again.
2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 15. Study to show thyself approved.
Go ahead.
Unto the Most High, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed.
Go ahead.
Rightly dividing the word of truth.
Rightly dividing this word of truth. Come on.
But shun profane and vain babbling.
Yeah, a lot of people giving their own opinion, what they feel, how they think. Right. All right, distorted history. Right. Their own interpretation. Right. It should avoid vain babblings. Brother, I got this breakdown I want you to see. It's going to take a couple of hours. Be patient, but brother, you vain babbling, brother. Right, go ahead.
For they will increase unto more ungodliness.
It's going to increase unto more ungodliness. Because it's like after a while you get frustrated, then it turns into an argument. Right. Then people want to insult, and then they start calling you out your name because you don't see their doctrine, and they mad, and and then that could lead to carnality, and it leads to more ungodliness. Right. Or it leads to a doctrine that's not of the Most High that's going to lead you off to sin. Right. All right, so that's why the Most High said that. Go ahead.
Verse 17. And their word will eat as doth a canker.
Oh, that's it on that. Go to Proverbs 28 and 1 now. Get Proverbs 28. Yeah, Proverbs 28 and 1. All right. Read that.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 28 and verse 1.
Go ahead.
The wicked.
No, 13. Salakia, my bad.
28 and verse 13.
Go ahead.
He that covereth his sins shall not prosper.
I want the one where it says, the heart of the righteous studieth to answer.
Okay, that's
28. I think it's in 28. All right.
It's 15:28.
15:28. Yeah, I had it backwards. My bad. Salakia. Get Proverbs 15:28.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 15 and verse 28.
Go ahead.
The heart of the righteous.
The mind of a righteous man or woman. Good.
Studieth to answer.
Studieth to answer. All right. So we are the men, and we on the front line. You got to read for yourself too. You got to read about the woman's role and the position in the scriptures. How to deal with your fellow sisters. Right. How to deal with your husband. How to deal with your children. How to deal with your household. All right, go ahead.
But the mouth of the wicked.
Come on.
Poureth out evil things.
They pour out evil things, man. All right? Evil things. They pour out evil, wicked things. All right? Because why? They're not studying and going by the word of the Most High Yahweh Shai. Learning their true history, their true identity, nationality. You learning the doctrine and the philosophies of man. All right? Come on.
Verse 29. Yahweh is far from the wicked.
Give me 2 Timothy 3:15 now. No, 1 Peter 3:15. Salakia, my bad. 1 Peter 3:15.
This is the book of 1 Peter, chapter 3 and verse 15.
Go ahead.
But sanctify Yahweh power in your hearts.
Right, so cleanse the Most High in your mind and your hearts. Come on.
And be ready always to give an answer.
Be ready to always give an answer. Sis, what's them strings on your bottom of your dress? Brother, why you don't eat pork? Well, what do you mean you don't celebrate Christmas, brother? You ain't in the holiday spirit. You acting like a Grinch. You acting like a Scrooge. You know what I'm saying? Merry Christmas. Nah, Happy Hanukkah, brother.
Yeah, God.
Hanukkah, you Jewish? You know what I'm saying? No, we the real Hebrews, brother. We the real Hebrew Israelites. I'm not Jewish. All right, we the real Jew. You are too, brother, if you ready to wake up. Right? Go ahead.
And be ready always to give an answer.
Always to give answer. Go ahead.
To every man that asketh you a reason of the hope that is in
every
you.
man that asketh you the reason of the hope that is in you. Why do you follow what you follow? Why do you believe in that? All right, go ahead.
With meekness and fear.
With what?
Meekness and fear.
With meekness and fear. You know, you don't have to be proud. When I was talking to the Amalekite woman, I wasn't proud. I wasn't like, oh, you dumb white woman, you don't know a damn thing. Right? Now, I could have been like that, but you know what I'm saying? I was like, no, I was just having a regular conversation. Because, see, they expect the nigga behavior a lot of times.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But when you cool, you in order, oh, that kills them, man. Mm-hmm. That kills them. That's why I be telling brothers, you ain't got to, kill these nations with kindness, man. You ain't got to be, brother, want to set up camp everywhere. I rebuke them devils out. Yeah, now you don't have a job, brother. When you're everywhere, you got to set up camp. Esau, I seen this Edomite, I just cut him out. Yo, relax. You have a conversation with them and cut them, and they'll want to shake your hand at the end, depending on how you do it. Right. Oh man, you're a very wise guy. Right. But you damn devil, you know, we get into a certain chamber in the camp or whatever, but you know it's gotta be like that. Walk in wisdom. You know, you can cut them up, man, and they make them feel this small, and you calm the whole time. You chilling. Why? Because you done check things out. At least the bare minimum where, because you know what I noticed? The average person in society, they just go by what they're told. Right. They don't really check. On the most, you even got to go deep sometimes. The most basic knowledge, they just go by what somebody told them. They never even read what they was told. Right. Right? So it's like, look, hey, did you know this? Know that? No. Oh man, you're a very wise guy, man. I ain't even go that deep. Right. You know? But I've checked out what the Most High told me to check out. Go ahead.
Verse 16. Having a good conscience, that whereas they speak evil of you as evildoers.
They speak evil of us as evildoers. Them guys teach hate. Right. They evil, man. Every time they just yell at white people all the time. All right, all they do is yell and scream on street corners. Right. All right, go ahead.
They may be ashamed.
They may be what?
They may be ashamed that falsely accuse your good conversation.
They're going to be ashamed that falsely accuse your good conversation. You know why? Because you can't say we're not telling the truth. You can say what you want about it, but you can't say that this is good conversation. This is truth. Truth is always good conversation, even if it hurts. Right. But you got to get it out because it's the truth. All right, go ahead.
Your good conversation in Christ.
Right. They'll be ashamed at your good conversation in your house shop. You guys teach hate. Well, can I go in the Bible and show you what Christ hated? Can I go in the Bible and show you what Christ's going to bring death and destruction? This is good conversation to him. Now tell him he hates. Right. Take it up with him. Don't pick on little old me. Take it up with the Most High Yahushua, the angel. Don't pick on little old me. You got a problem with it, it's in the book. Challenge the book. Right. Challenge the Most High Yahushua. And you're going to lose. Right. All right, go ahead.
Verse 17. For it is better if the will of the Most High be so that ye suffer for well-doing.
Right, it's better you suffer for well-doing, go ahead,
than for evil-doing.
Than for evil-doing. So when you repented, from your evil ways, you might have been a hustler, you might have been this, you might have been that, and you could have been judged for those things. What? Or something could have happened, something bad could have happened to you for being wicked. Now what? Something can still happen to you, but it's for righteousness. The prophets and the apostles, man, they had a hard job. People want to kill them, man, like they want to do us now. We live in a new day and age, and you got certain laws and certain things set up a different way. And the Most High did that to protect us in this time so we can fully get the gospel out because we're in the last days. Right. If we was like during the Roman Empire and Nero, Caesar, and where they was killing Christians and Jews, but the Most High set it up where this system is a certain way. Freedom of speech, leave them guys alone. Right. They're not blowing up a building, so we're watching them. We're watching them. We're keeping an eye on them. Terrorist watch list. Right. But they didn't blow up a building, so leave them alone. And then the angels be like, don't you dare. Most High Yahushua and the angels, don't you dare touch my servants. That's right. They out there doing my work. You can be mad as hell at what they saying, but you can't do nothing.
Bring it out.
Them angels, you come to do some harm, your damn car crash. Angels
right.
make you come. I'm gonna get those Israelites today. I'm gonna get my angel. I'm gonna shoot them when they're out there teaching. Angel make you crash on your way. All right, angel put a spirit of depression on you and make you put that damn AR to the roof of your damn mouth. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Straight up.
How about that? Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So the guy committed suicide. You never know. He was trying to come do harm to Israel. Most High put a death angel on him. Okay? All right, read on.
Verse 18. For Christ also have once suffered for sin.
Right, Yahweh shall suffer for our sins, although he was sinless. Come on.
The just for the unjust.
Yahweh shall was the just, and he suffered for the unjust. How many people would do that? I ain't paying for this Negro's wickedness. Right, but he was the just that suffered for the unjust. Right, come on.
That he might bring us to the Most High.
That he might bring us to the Most High. He said, listen, Israel got to be adopted back. Right, by shedding of my blood, by a righteous sacrifice. All right, Karen? All right, go ahead.
Being put to death in the flesh.
Right, he was killed in the flesh, come on.
But quickened by the
But
Spirit.
he was quickened by the Spirit, meaning the word quicken means to make alive. He was quickened by the Spirit. Come on.
By which also he went and preached.
That's it on that. All right, so I just want the main part about the studying. All right, but we can go into that too, which is the Holy Spirit about suffering for this truth's sake. Give me St. John 16:1, and then we're gonna open up. St. John 16:1, we're gonna read like maybe 1 to 3 or 1 to 4 or something like that. All right. And remember, y'all go back over these verses. All right. It tells you in Isaiah, wisdom and knowledge is gonna be the stability of your times. This world is going to be so bugged out and crazy. Only thing going to save you is having some common sense and knowing some knowledge. That's it. It's going to be. I can see it. It's going to get so bugged out here. You know what I'm saying? That's why you're going to be like it tell you. I think in Thessalonians, a light that shines in a dark place. When you have the wisdom and knowledge of the more, because everybody's going to be bugged out, man. You know, they bugging off this corona. They bugging off the virus. I was in the supermarket earlier, and the sister was like, "How you doing, sir?" I said, "How you doing, sis?" Her eyes all big, and I said, "What's the problem?" She said, "Everything's all right." "No, your name is supposed to have your stuff on the counter. It's 6 feet. Corona." I said, "I didn't even know. I don't have no sign or nothing up here. I don't put my stuff on a conveyor belt so I can pay for my groceries." "No, I'm not finished with her yet. We'll put up a sign or something." Right. I know they got the little 6 feet things on the but nobody even be really obeying that, man. Right. People be right up on your neck. Right. You know what I'm saying? That's true. So, but I said, "Sis, I don't know. Y'all don't have a sign up enough than that. You got to stand all the way back." I said, "I just put my stuff on a conveyor belt because I'm ready to pay for it as soon as you finish with her, and I'm not up on your neck or nothing." Right. You know, so the people, they bugged out, man. You got this bugged out look on her face, her eyes all, all wide, and because they so scared what they see on the media. All right, go ahead.
This is the book of St. John, chapter 16 and verse 1.
Come on.
These things have I spoken unto you, that ye should not be offended.
Right, Yahweh said, "These things are spoken unto you, that you shall not be offended." Come on.
They shall put you out of the synagogue.
They shall put you out. Yahweh said they were going to put you out of the synagogue, the places of worship, right? Come on.
Yea, the time coming.
And this was a prophecy for back then, and now he was telling the disciples they was going to go through that back then. Because when you read in Acts and other books, what happened? They start teaching the gospel and start going to the synagogues and being persecuted for the word's sake. Right, go ahead.
Yea, the time cometh.
The time cometh, go ahead.
That whosoever killeth you.
Whosoever killeth you.
Will think that he doeth the Most High service.
Right, you're going to have people that think they're of the Most High. Right. This thing going to get serious, right? Even other Israelites in the truth. Yeah. Brothers be threatening and saying certain things, all because of doctrine or disagreement, or maybe a brother did sin, right? But you ain't the one to carry that judgment into your hand. That's the Most High going to. A brother may do a major sin, Like, yo, repent, that's off. Get yourself together. Take some time off. And, you know, we don't see that spirit again. No, but you're going to be judge, jury, and executioner for the Most High Yahweh. No. Yeah, there are stories of zeal in the scriptures, like you read about the Maccabees. But that's when the Most High put the spirit of vengeance on you to, you know, to handle that physical part where we may have to slay some of the wicked. But that is all of the Most High. You ain't going to take nothing upon yourself. And then we living in a time of mercy right now. Right? Because we've been so damaged from this kingdom, man. You know, we've been so messed up from this kingdom. We live in a time of a lot of mercy. A lot of our people are destroyed, jacked up.
Destroyed, yeah.
So, you know, you got to just say, yo, the brother, sister might went off, but it's up to the mercy of the Most High. Time come and you're going to be a damn Judas Maccabees. That time might come too. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be a Nehemiah. You're going to be a Yahushua in the temple with the scourge. That time might come too. Most time I say, look, man, I'm going to give you the power, put the spirit. Man, put these wicked Negroes to death, man. Straight up. It's time, my son. He give you that power. You go and handle that business. You be a righteous death angel. But, you know, a lot of time it's just hatred and carnality of Israel, using the scriptures as an excuse, using maybe a brother fell short, using a doctrine because they carnal and hate you anyway and want to show their toughness in the nation. So they want to talk all reckless against brothers because you got an agenda anyway. You hate brothers anyway. You want to take out your anger on brothers anyway. You ain't really stand up for righteous judgment. That's why things happen. It is what it is. Yeah, I'm going to go there. Brothers disagree on a doctrine and somebody end up getting punched in the face and beat up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm not glorifying it. It's really a bad look for the nation when you look at the bigger scheme of things. But you so desperate. Give me Job 6:25. You so desperate to push your doctrine on and to debate brothers and be right. You so desperate. Instead of saying, look, I believe what I believe, I'm going to teach it, whatever the case may be. You so desperate to prove your point, to disprove a brother, it gets to a physical confrontation and somebody ends up getting hurt. And it is what it is. I'm not going that far with a brother because I disagree with a teacher. I'm going to ignore you or get away. I'm really going to try to get away from you. So we got to cut that out, man. You know, we read last night about Judas, the Maccabees, and the Assyrians. They just say, yo, y'all trying to fight the Greeks, and we're going to come over there, and we're going to debate Judas on the difference in doctrine. And if Judas don't like it, we're going to call him a name. No, they said, listen, we both fight for the laws of the Most High. Let's fight together, brother, against these wicked Greeks. No, I'm going to go over there and debate Judas and the Maccabees, and I'm going to cut them guys and show them they don't know nothing. And we can't debate. I'm going to talk over them, and I'm going to disrespect them and call them names. And then Judas chopped your damn head off, like the warrior that he was. No, the Assyrians said, listen, whatever. We might have a little different understanding or do things differently according to, but yo, we both fighting for the laws of the Most High. Let's get together and get it cracking with these Greeks. Now we're gonna go to Judas war camp and have a debate. That's what you really doing. Right. A brother's out there in camp. You going to a brother's war camp. Camp is spiritual war. Right. You going to a brother's war camp to challenge him about a doctrine when he's trying to edify the people and tell the nations their judgment. That ain't even really the place for it. Right. The place for it is for that. If we're going to reason together in Israel and have different doctrines, that's really to be done behind the scenes. Right. Now, if you want to film it so that people can get edification, okay, here's the proof of both arguments. But that's supposed to be done in order. It's supposed to be a moderator. Nobody's supposed to be talking over each other. No cursing. No going back and forth. No name calling. No petty insults. It's supposed to be done in order, man. No, not getting mad because your point got cut. Right. No, shutting the hell up when it's not your time to speak. That's how it's supposed to be done, in decency and in order. And then the people could look and say, well, I heard both sides of the argument. This what I see. This what I understand. That was actually a good debate, brothers. I learned something on both sides. That's how it's supposed to be done in order. You know what I'm saying? Brothers getting all personal. It's just pride. So things happen. You know, things happen. And that should teach all of us a lesson, brother. There's a time and a place for everything. You don't really go to brothers' camps to debate them and antagonize them. You know, let's cut that out, Israel. If anything, you know brothers is teaching in your city or whatever. Yo, brothers, Shalom, how y'all doing? Came to show love. Hey, we got a little difference in understanding scripture. Can we set up a time where brothers can sit down professionally and go over this and try to get an understanding? Can we do that, brothers? And if brothers say, nah, we don't want to waste our time. We believe what we believe. Y'all believe what y'all believe. You're supposed to leave them brothers alone. Let them brothers continue teaching and go off and do what you're supposed to do.
Right.
But that's not Israel. The pride comes in and they got to be right. And they got to be able to go and say, we confounded them. And they couldn't answer the question. And we called them all kinds of names. You know, read.
Khan, this is the book of Job, chapter 6, verse 25.
Come on.
How forcible are right words.
Right, the truth has force to it because it's right words. Go ahead.
But what doeth your arguing reprove?
And what do your arguing reprove? You know what I'm saying? Going back and forth and like Paul said, vain jangling. Vain babbling, man. How forcible are right words? You know, right words have truth, they have power to them. Come on.
Verse 26. Do ye imagine to reprove words and the speeches
The Lord said, do you imagine to reprove the words and the speeches? Go ahead.
of one that is desperate?
A lot of these brothers are desperate. They're desperate to teach you their doctrine. They're desperate to convince you. They're desperate to be right instead of being true. I always say that. And you can be right and true at the same time, but they have a desperation to be right because they want to one-up on their brother. Because of the curses, all right? I'm a house nigga, you a field nigga. I'm better than you. All right, go ahead.
Which are as
And
wind.
the Lord said it becomes as wind. It goes into arguing and vain opinions, talking over each other. And then most of the time, you're not going to agree anyway. You're going to go believe what you're going to believe. He's going to believe what he believes. So it becomes like wind.
Right.
All right, go ahead.
Verse 27. Yeah, ye overwhelm the fatherless.
That's it on that. So it said, right words are forcible. What doeth your arguing reprove? Going back and forth. Hey, hold up, brother. I was making a point. You wasn't making a damn thing. You was just talking, making noise. That's what you was making. You know what I'm saying? Talking loud and saying nothing. We got to come out of that spirit, man. It's destructive to the nation. Okay? So I just wanted to open with that as a precursor. But let's get into it. We're going to cover the 3rd and 4th chapters of Maccabees. We'll breeze right through it. Try not to have the natives too long, because I know we want some time to fellowship. But it's a beautiful Hanukkah weekend. All praise to the Most High, Yahweh. You know, Satan's been busy, man. You know, whenever we try to come together and do something in righteousness, there's always something, man. And but sometimes the Most High have things happen so we can deal with them.
Right.
You know, during feast days, right? Even though it's a time of celebration or whatever, the Most High is like, well, listen, we still got to heal the nation.
Right.
That's part of the feast also. That's on a whole nother spiritual level.
Right.
I'm like, damn, all this stuff happening during Hanukkah. Like, hell, that need to be fixed. That need to be dealt with. That need to be addressed. We even know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? So just pray for the nation, man. Pray for the nation, because we as leaders, senior men, brothers that's on the front line doing the work, whatever position you may be in, we hear a little bit of it all, man. And it's, you know, Israel going through it out there, man. And you know, and the people, they want help, but it's like, damn, what type of situation is this now? All right, brother, I can give you this advice. I can give you these scriptures. I can give you experience. I can give you wisdom as an elder. But Most High Yahweh shall have mercy and help you fix that situation. Along with, you know, what we give you to fix it, you know, because that helps too. You got something? Right, bring it out.
It's the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 5 and verse 8. It says, therefore let us keep the feast, not with old leaven.
Right, and when you go into the time of this was talking about the Passover, but the feast in general. It said, let us keep the feast. Come on.
Neither with the leaven of malice and wickedness.
Right, don't keep the feast with the leaven of malice and wickedness. All right, meaning the spiritual leaven inside of you, like the leaven makes the bread rise. That leaven in you puffs you up, make you proud, make you have malice and evil and hatred and jealousy towards your brother and sister. All right, go ahead.
But with the unleavened bread of sincerity and truth.
Right, take that leaven out of you and put in sincerity and truth within your spirit. So you can't keep the feast and you're not, the spirit is just all over the place. So, Paul was speaking about the Passover there, but all feasts in general.
Right.
Keep it in the right spirit. And Satan, you gotta be mindful when you get experience in this truth. Satan comes at a time when we trying to get together, trying to build, brothers and sisters coming in town from different states and cities. And here comes Satan. Next the hell with it. I ain't going to the Hanukkah. Right? Satan done got you. Right? That was his purpose. He wanted to get you out of the spirit. Because, regardless of what we went through, once we came together last night and the word started going out in fellowship, it was a beautiful thing. Right. But that's what Satan was trying to stop. Right. Okay? Right. Just like today, man. Everybody calling me, Elder! I'm like, oh my God, man. Satan is busy, man. I took up half my day trying to fix problems in Israel. Damn, what time is it? We got a feast tonight. All right, hold on, sister. I got a scripture for you. Hold on, I got a scripture for you, brother. Hold on. Right. All right, priest, man, I'm just trying to calm down, brother. Hold on, let me calm down, you know what I'm saying? Yo, man, let me go, man. We gotta go. We gotta do the feast, man. It's late. All right, I'll talk to y'all another time, man. Here, take that for now, and I'll catch you another time, man. We out here in Vegas fellowshipping with the family. Okay? All right, so we're going to open up in prayer and get the main service started. All right?
Which way is east?
East is, which way is east, Ada? Which way is east?
From here?
Uh-huh. Oh, somebody haven't been praying. Y'all haven't been praying. Which way is east, Rob? Y'all haven't been praying. I don't know. Yeah. East is this way. No, it's this way. It's this way. I thought it was this way. No, I looked on my compass. It's this way. I already knew. I was just asking. Slacking on that prayer. Right? I'll show you.
Try my best.
I don't feel bad, Rob Jr.
Slack it.
Good. Imagine we're playing at Jerusalem, standing face Jerusalem on the east, which is this way. Hallelujah. 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 Opening prayer, Matthew 6:9-13. Abanawa.
Abanawa.
Shabbat Shemayim. Kadash. Haya. Shaka. Yahweh. Rakwavka. Raba'ah. Zaka. Haya. Aisha. Barataza. Kawa. Haya. Bashamayim. Abanawa. Hallelujah. 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 Our Father, Yahweh, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power and the glory forever. By Hashem Mashiach Yahushua throughout our months. Hallelujah. 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 Blessing of Israel throughout the four corners of the earth and the Shemais. Shema. Shema. Yasharallah. Yasharallah. Yahweh. Yahweh. Hayanawa. Hayanawa. Yahweh. Yahweh. Shema. Shema. Yasharallah. Yasharallah. Yahweh. Yahweh. Hayanawa. Hayanawa. Yahweh. Shema. Shema. Yasharallah. Yasharallah. Yahweh. Hear, O Israel, Yahweh, our power, Yahweh is one. Matthew 6, 9 through 13, in the ancient Paleo Hebrew and English translation. Also the Shema's prayers, Deuteronomy 6, verse 4. Hebrew tongue and English translation. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Blessing of the HANUKKAH and the new moon. Yahweh. Yahweh. Hashem. Hashem. Mashiach. Mashiach. Yahushua. Yahushua. Baruch. Barak. Barak. Nawa. Nawa. HANUKKAH. HANUKKAH. Wa. Kadash. Kadash. Yirak. Yirak. Hashem. Hashem. Mashiach. Mashiach. Yahushua. The water. The water. Yah. Yah. Awalam. Hallelujah. 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 Blessed O Most High Yahweh by Hashem Mashiach Yahushua. Thank you for the Hanukkah 6th day, 6th night, Most High. Thank you for the new moon, 10th month, Most High. Thank you for letting us come together to celebrate and acknowledge your great feast day by Hashem Mashiach Yahushua. The water from Yah Awalam. Hallelujah. 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 All right. Repeat the Hebrew only. Drink offering. Blessed are you, Yahweh, that gives to us the fruit of the vine. Barakatah Yahweh. Yahweh. Nathanawa. Apaya. Agapan. Ba'ashem. Hamashiach. Yahushua. The water. Yad. Awalam. La Yahweh, La Yahushua, La Yasha'ala, Dam Yahushua, Blood of Yahushua, Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Repeat the Hebrew only. Blessed are you, Yahweh, that gives us the law. Barakatah Yahweh, Yahweh, Nathanawa, Atawara. This way, yeah. No, straight, like to the door. Yeah. Blessed are you, Yahweh, that gives us the ram's horn to call the people. Barakatah Yahweh, Yahweh, Nathanawa, Hakwaran, Washawapah, Wakwara, Ha'ain. Blessed are you, Yahweh, that gives to us the light to see. Barakatah Yahweh, Yahweh, Nathanawa, Ha'awar, Lara'ah, Ba'ashem, Hamashiach, Yahushua, the water, Yad, Awalam. Hallelujah. 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 Good. Shabbat. You see it. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
All right, family. So, Ashar HANUKKAH, Ashar Kadasharak. Happy Hanukkah Day 6 and Happy New Moon 10th month. So, whenever you celebrate, Shemai, whenever you celebrate the Feast of Hanukkah, the 8 days of HANUKKAH, all right, you're always going to have a Sabbath in the middle of those 8 days, of course. And you're always going to have a new moon within the middle of those 8 days, right? Because the Hanukkah Feast of Dedication falls on the 25th day of the month. Right. So the new moon is normally the 30th day. So you're going to have a new moon within that 8 days of Hanukkah, and you're going to have a regular Sabbath because it's 8 days. So a regular Sabbath is going to come somewhere in there since it's the 7th day. Okay? So we're celebrating 2 things tonight. The 6th day of Hanukkah, and the new moon 10th month. So we're going to pick up where we left off last night, giving you some more of the story, just reading together the story of the Feast of Dedication. We're just going to skim right through chapters 3 and 4, all right, for the sake of time and whatever, so we can have time to fellowship and everything, things of that nature, and, you know, eat, drink, and be merry, okay? But we're going to eat a little bit of the spiritual food first. So let's go to 1 Maccabees chapter 3. We're going to do chapter 3, verse 4. Chapter 3 and chapter 4. All right. They got a lot of verses, but like I said, we'll try to skim through it and always read for yourselves. Right. Any intricate history or details we don't get a chance to edify on, you can always read on your own. Okay? But we're going to get a basic overview and read the story together. Okay? So we picking up from last night. We did chapters 1 and 2. Now let's do 3 and 4. All right. First Maccabees 3 and 1.
This is the book of First Maccabees, chapter 3, verse 1. Then his son Judas, called Maccabeus, called Salakia. Then his son Judas, called Maccabeus, rose up in his stead.
Right. So last night we went over it. Who started the Maccabean revolt? What was his name? Don't yell out. Who remember from last night? Don't yell out. I know somebody more than Yahweh. Yeah. Mattathias. Or Mattathias in the ancient Hebrew. All right, that's the Greek way of saying Matthew. All right, Matthias Maccabees. All right, Mattathias, tomato. Mattathias in the ancient Hebrew. Mattathias Makwabath would be his ancient Hebrew name. He started the Maccabean revolt. Against the Greek Inquisition. Right? Remember what happened? He killed the wicked Negro that came to sacrifice on the altar. Right. And then he killed the king's commissioner. Right. Or his messenger or his emissary that came to bring him the message to be the first one to sell out. So now after his death in chapter 2, now Judas, everybody write this down or record it or whatever the case may be. Judas Maccabees was the first son, Shammai. Why is there so much talking going on over there? All right. Judas Maccabees was the first son of Matthias Maccabees to continue the Maccabean revolt. That's a lot, but go back to the video and write it down. I ain't going back through all that again. Gun? Write it down when you hear it on the video. But he was the first son after the father to take up the fight in the revolt against the Greeks. Okay? Now write this down too. Judas Maccabees reigned from 166 to his death at 160 BC or BCE. He ruled from 166 to 160 BC. All right, for 6 years. He died at 30 years old. He was a young man, young warrior. All right. He was born 190 BC and died 160 BC. Judas Maccabees. And y'all will get more in-depth history when you look up the Maccabean dynasty, or it was also known as the Hasmonean dynasty. All right, so Judas is now taking up the revolt and the fight after his father Matthias starts the revolution, but he dies and he passes it down to his son. What did Matthias say about his son? We read it yesterday. What did he say about Judas? Anybody? Besides Yahweh. Anybody who was listening to the story yesterday? Matthias said something about his son before he died, and passed down the rulership to him. He said, "What? Judas has been a man of war since his youth." Kind? He was a warrior from a young child, just like David. David was a warrior from a young child. Kind? So he said, "I'm going to pass the torch to you, because out of all my sons, you've been a dude that been fighting since child." All the Maccabean brothers were fighters. But Judas was a man of war from his youth. You know, Matthias said, "Listen, the first one that I would like to take charge of this revolution would be you, because you're the toughest." Kind, and then you're gonna encourage the rest of the brothers to keep fighting. Kind, because that's what happened. It went all through the Maccabean brothers, but they all was dead fighting against Esau. Kind? All right, so that's just a little basic life history on Judas. You can read more and look up more on him yourself. Read it again. 1 Maccabees 3:1.
This is the book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 3, verse 1. Then his son Judas, called Maccabeus, rose up in his stead, and all his brethren helped him, and so did all they that held with his father, and they fought with cheerfulness the battle of Israel.
Check that out. They fought against their enemies with cheerfulness. Right now, Jake fight against each other with cheerfulness. All right, they go shoot up, they kill a Jake, then go shoot up the funeral home, and then go brag about it on Instagram. You know what I'm saying? And then get caught. Dummies. All right, go ahead.
Verse 3. So he gat his people great honor, and put on a breastplate as a giant, and girt his warlike harness about him, and he made battles, protecting the host with his sword. And his axe.
The host represents the children of Israel. All right, protecting the host with his sword. Come on.
Verse 4. In his axe he was like a lion, and like a lion's whelp, roaring for his prey.
See that? It said in his axe he was like a lion, and like a lion's whelp, roaring for his prey. Go to Genesis 49. You're going to check out something spiritual here. Judas Maccabee's name was Judah.
Right.
Judas is Greek. His name was Judah, but what tribe was he from? Levi. Con? But he had a spirit like what the Most High said how Judah would be.
Yeah.
And his name was Judah, but he was a Levite. Right? But so read Genesis 49. And I started on 8.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 49 and verse 8. And it reads, Judah, thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise.
So Judah, it said Judah, which we know and understand to be the so-called African Americans. He said, thy brethren will praise you. You will be on the forefront, and I will raise you up, and the rest of your brethren will praise you. Mainly through Yahushua, because Yahushua is from the tribe of Judah. Okay? All right, go ahead.
Thy hand shall be in the neck of thine enemy.
When it says the hand would be in the neck of the enemy, meaning Judah or Jake would have some of the top positions in Esau's kingdom. We right at the top. We're the neck, but we're never the head.
Yeah.
All right, like a lot of these corporations behind the scenes, there's always a Jake or Eve that's running the whole damn company.
Right.
Telling the Edomites what to do, but you won't see them.
Yeah.
A lot of these inventions is our people.
Oh, yeah.
But Esau pay a Negro hush money, then they patent it, all right, and they take it for themselves. But you can never say nothing. You got to sign a gag order. Right. All right, I give you $30 million, but you can't say that you're the one that invented that. Right. The modern day PC was what? It was invented by a brother by the name of Mark Dean. All right, and he's the father of the modern day laptop, PC, or tablet. All that technology came from this brother. And they gave him like $30 million and put him off somewhere. You can still read about him, but shh. You ain't gonna hear his name on IBM, Hewlett Packard, Apple. But he is the father of the modern day laptop, tablet, all that new technology of computers. It was done by a brother. All right, but they're not going to tell you that. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
Thy father's children shall bow down before thee.
It said, thy father's children shall bow down to thee, meaning the Most High would use Judah on the forefront to mainly be the one to rise up and lead the tribe back to the Most High. A lot of the brothers that was the founders of this truth, they were so-called African American. It is what it is. Brothers get into the whole tribal thing, which I don't get into that. Is what the scriptures say. And then H.O.I is from the tribe of Judah. Everybody gonna bow down to him. Right? Go ahead.
Verse 9. Judah is a lion's whelp.
And the reason why the Most High got it like that, because the Most High does everything in order. Everything. From the tribes, the nation, everything. Right? It said what?
Judah is a lion's whelp.
He's a what?
A lion's
He's
whelp.
a lion's whelp. He's ferocious. He's ready to tear everything up. Ready to go hunting every minute. He's like a young lion. Lion's whelp. Go ahead.
Con. From the prey, my son, thou art gone up.
But it seems like a lot of our people from the tribe of Judah, they've given up the fight. That's what it's talking about. They're not like they were in the 60s, 70s, when the spirit of revolution was on them. When they was the Black Panthers and the Black Peace Stone Rangers and the Black Liberation Army and all these different, the Nation of Islam and all these organizations that was fighting against Esau. They had the Watts riots. They had the riots when Martin Luther King died, which a lot of, they don't talk about because Jake was tearing stuff up in this country.
Yeah.
They always show we just burning down our own. No. There was times in this country our people rose up. Like when Martin Luther King got killed, Negroes was rising up. They was rising up. That's where you get like movies like that movie Detroit and other movies. Jake was rising up. They always make it seem like we just burnt our neighborhood down but which is true. But there was a lot of times we was fighting the system too, and Esau got nervous. And he said, look, give these Negroes a little bit of freedom and calm them down. Remember the scripture said a gift destroys the heart. So now, once Esau started giving Jake jobs, and remember they said that in the movie, one of the movies, I think, what's that movie, the Wayans brothers? How to Drink Your Juice in the Hood, or whatever that. Don't be a menace, yeah. They said, what happened to all the Black Panthers? He said they all got good government jobs. And that's true. That's true. They said, what happened to the Black Panthers? Oh, they all got good government jobs. So what happened? A gift destroys the heart. Judah left the prey. They like, well, I ain't got to fight no more. I got a nice house. I teach at a university. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? A gift destroys the heart. Esau pacified them and calmed them down.
God.
Like the athletes, they take the biggest, buff, strongest Negroes and, man, give him a basketball contract, baseball, football. Keep that Negro happy.
Yep.
But that big Negro, he go against us. You know what I'm saying? Or they coon them out, or they put them in movies and have them like these big, stupid looking. Now the brother, he just died. Debo.
Yeah, Debo,
from Friday.
Yeah.
Tiny Lister.
Tiny Lister.
They take these big brothers and you know, they coon them out in the movies and make them look big and stupid and you know, just simple as hell.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, they coon them out. Why? Because what? They want to keep Jake pacified. Keep that Negro happy, man. You know, don't let him rise up against us.
Yep.
And then if you do become too much of a threat, they assassinate you.
Yep.
Or they assassinate your character.
Ah.
All right? So it said Judah went up from the prey. A lot of our people gave up. And they just like, man, you know, we ain't going to never come together. We ain't going to, man. Let me just work, take care of my family, save my money, live good. And I ain't trying to fight for these Negroes no more. They left from the prey. Yep. All right, go ahead.
Okay, Khan. He stooped down. He crouched as a lion.
Go ahead.
And as an old lion.
So he said he stooped down and crouched like a lion. That was that time period also. Like, he looked like he was going to fight, go against the system, take Esau down. He was crouching like a lion, ready to fight. But then he turned into an old lion. Now he's lazy. He's tired. He don't want to fight no more. You know, he's into his politics, his rap music. You know, conform to the system. If you can't beat him, join him. Right? Be a good old boy. So Moses put the spirit on Moses to see Judah in the future. Said it looked like they're going to have a time period where they look like they're going to fight, but then they're going to sit back and be like an old lion. In other words, what? Our people are complacent.
Yep.
Right.
You give Jake a good job, you know what I'm saying? And not even really a good job a lot of times. Just enough to survive if he's happy.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? You know, so that's how this. Our people became complacent against the fight. They didn't have the spirit to fight against Esau no more. After that era, that's why, not to get tribal, but a lot of Caribbeans say that. The Caribbeans come to this country and they'll say, oh, you Yankee boy, you haven't done nothing since King died. You Negroes you haven't fought, you haven't done nothing since King died. That's like a stereotype of career. I've battled with Benjamin in the camp and they've said that to us. Yeah. You're preaching all this? You guys don't do nothing since King died, you don't do nothing. You know what I'm saying? That's a stereotype. Basically, they're saying, since the 60s, you Negroes haven't done nothing. You haven't fought. You went out there and you fought in the Vietnam War and died for Esau, came back all jacked up, Agent Orange, limbs missing, fought a war that wasn't yours. You know what I'm saying? So basically they got like this stereotype, like the American Negro, he's been non-progressive since the King era. He stopped fighting. All right, go ahead, which is true to a certain degree. You Negroes went up from the prey. But back then they was, you know, our people was looking like they was ready to get it in. You know, you had to watch riots. I was watching a documentary on some of the stuff that went on in L.A. and they was interviewing a young brother, and the reporter said, "Well, can a riot stop tonight? And you know, a lot of people are getting hurt, people are getting arrested." And the young Jake said, "We don't care. We gonna have another one tonight." You know what I'm saying? I forgot one of them documentaries I was watching about the riots in L.A. in the '60s. He said, "That's okay. We gonna have another one tonight." You know what I'm saying? So they had that spirit, like they want to fight. But what happened? They all got government jobs. Yeah. That part was funny in the movie, but it was true. All right, and remember, every time they would say something, the Wayans dude would say message. Remember that? Yeah. And they was letting you know they was slipping little truth. And the silly, dumb movie like that, they was sneaking truth in there. Right? Message, you know what I'm saying? Which is true. A lot of these, I remember we held up a picture in the camp. It was on the New York Times. They had Bobby Steele eating a pork rib. Yeah, one of the, Bobby Seale, my bad. Bobby Seale, one of the main Panthers. They had him sitting up on the New York Times with a pork rib in his mouth, making mockery of him. The Negro went from fighting against the system to sitting down now eating a pork rib. Yeah, they mocking him, man, mocking him, and that's what they do. You know what I'm saying? So they going up from the prey. Go ahead.
As an old lion, who shall rise him up?
In other words, who's going to rouse up the tribe of Judah is going to have to be the Most High. Do the word. You know what I'm saying? Negro's going to have to lose everything in his system. Remember, the Most High said, in your affliction, you will seek me early. All right, so that's the prophecy on Judah. Read on.
Verse 10. The scepter shall not depart from Judah.
The scepter or the rulership shall not, the scepter represents rulership, shall not depart from Judah. Go ahead.
Nor a lawgiver from between his feet.
Go ahead.
Until Shiloh comes.
Shiloh. All right, Shiloh is a title for Yahushua. It means peaceable one, or one of peace. Like it tells you in Isaiah, one of the titles of Yahushua is Prince of Peace. They try to say that about the Pope, but he's the Prince of damn pedophilia. He's not the Prince of Peace, he's the Prince of pedophiles. All right, go ahead.
And unto him shall the gathering of the people be.
So ultimately, the gathering is going to be to Yahushua. Come on.
Binding the foil unto the vine.
Go ahead.
And his ass's coat unto the choice vine.
Go ahead.
He washed his garment in wine.
He washed his garment in wine. Go ahead.
And his clothes in the blood of grapes.
Right. It tells you that in Matthew, it said they call Yahushua a wine bibber and a gluttonous man, right? But, you know, Yahushua liked to drink wine. And that was a characteristic of the Jews. That's the characteristic of the Negro today. Jake liked to drink.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that was going into that prophecy of Judah. All right. The spiritual symbolism of the tribe of Judah, how we would know who they are today. Now, we can all say, oh, these characteristics can fit anybody on the earth. But it's speaking about our people. And you know, when you pinpoint it with the curses in Deuteronomy and Leviticus, that's talking about Jake. You know what I'm saying? So, he that have ears to hear, let him hear. Because you got a big debate about the 12 tribe chart now, and that don't make sense. It made perfect sense to a man of wisdom. And if you don't see it, you don't see it. We just respectfully disagree. Then you tell me who the tribe of Judah is. Is it the Arabs? Is it the Africans? All right. Right? Wakanda forever? Who's the tribe of Judah then? You know what I'm saying? Then where's your breakdown? Huh? All right, that's your breakdown. Fine, brother. That's what you believe. Is it the East Indians? Is it any people of colors, the tribe of Judah? Who is it? All right, that's your breakdown. Fine. Bring it out.
It's like, and just to let me back off something the brother was saying a little bit earlier. My great aunt was actually one of like the women behind the start of the Black Panthers and the Watts riots. And she was the first Miss Watts, and it's a photo of her right here. With Bill Cosby.
Wow.
She was right here. Miss
Wow,
Watts.
check that out. Miss Watts. Check
Her
that
name
out.
is Juanita Harper. She's a doctor, but just to give y'all a little.
Put a little bit into the camera.
Right now.
See it.
It's the bright. Well, it'll show up on Rob's camera. Yeah.
She was
Check
the
that
first-
out, Miss
first
Watts.
Watts. Right there with Bill Cosby.
Wow. Check that out.
She was one of the women behind a lot of the political movement.
Good. There you go. That's history right there in the flesh.
Yes, that's
man.
right.
Right, it's in the room. All right, good. Hell, the apple don't fall too far for the tree. From the
That's
tree.
right.
Because now he fighting Esau.
That's
And
right.
It's truth. All right, good.
Verse 12. His eyes shall be red with wine,
It said his eyes shall be red with wine. Go ahead.
and his teeth white with milk.
And his teeth white with milk. Right? So these were characteristics that would be of the tribe of Judah of today. Like I said, you can debate it and say, well, I could fit anybody on the earth. Okay, fine. That's your understanding. All right. They used to have the caricatures of Jake with the big white teeth. Making mockery. You know what I'm saying? Right, he'll eat the watermelon and then his teeth. He'll smile and have the big white teeth, man. Remember buckwheat on a Little Rascal?
Yeah, of course.
They would always have buckwheat smiling.
Yeah.
And buckwheat was a real dark Jake. He was a real dark young Jake, so when he smiled, you see his teeth.
Yeah.
They always have buckwheat smiling and talking simple.
Yeah.
Right? What? Because that was going into the mockery of Judah too.
Yep.
All right, they was going into the mockery of Judah also. So those are all the characteristics. So he that have ears to hear, let him hear. You know, you don't see it that way, Khan. We respectfully disagree. Keep it pushing. All right, bring out your 12 tribes chart and teach the people. All right, good.
It's going into Zebulon.
Give me back to Maccabees. First Maccabees 3 and 5.
Con.
So y'all see that spiritual. His name was Judah, and the scriptures say he was like a lion's whelp. But he was a Levite.
Right.
But the tribe of Judah, that would be their characteristic in future prophecy. See that? So a lot of things are spiritual. You can have a tribe of another name and be from a different tribe. All right, go ahead.
Khan, this is the book of First Maccabees, chapter 3, verse 5. For he pursued the wicked and sought them out and burnt up those that vexed his people.
Go ahead.
Wherefore the wicked shrunk for fear of him, and all the works of iniquity were troubled, because salvation prospered in his hand.
Check that out. It says salvation prospered in his hand. And that shows you salvation is a deliverance from affliction. Right? You ain't got to, like the Christians, I'm going to die and go to heaven and be saved. Salvation is right here, man.
Ah, that's right.
All right? Salvation is in the flesh. It said what? Because salvation prospered in his hand. All right, go to Daniel's 8 again. And link that up. So prosperity was in Judah's hand because what? He delivered Israel. He delivered the people. Go to Daniel 8. We read it last night. Where practice and prosperity.
I think it was like 14.
Yeah. Or 12. Daniel 8.
Ready to 12?
It might be. Yeah,
Right.
Daniel 8 and 12. Get right to the point. We read Daniel 8 last night and broke it down how it applies to the Hanukkah, the feast of the dedication. But read it again. Daniel and my Wi-Fi is tripping, but we getting it on the main camera. All right, Daniel 8 and 12.
This is the book of Daniel, chapter 8, verse 12. And an host was given him against the daily sacrifice by reason of transgression.
The he is Antiochus Epiphanes the fourth that invaded Jerusalem and set up the abomination of desolation, defiled the temple. It was the Greek Inquisition on Israel during that time. All right, so it said a host was given, meaning wicked Israelites. Wicked sellout Israelites went along with Esau to fight against their own people. Right, go ahead.
And it cast down the truth to the ground.
It cast down the truth to the ground because once we couldn't sacrifice in the temple no more, that was it. We can't. That was our connection to the Most High. Once they start making us not circumcise our children, all right, that took away from us what? Practicing the truth, the law, statutes, and commandments. Go ahead.
And practice and prosper.
In what?
And practice.
In practice, they practiced their wickedness. Go ahead.
And prosper.
And it prospered because it said many other Israelites consented. Remember, we read that in 1 Maccabees 1. It said many of the Israelites consented to their religion. So that's how it prospered because they got a lot of our people to go off. So Judas turned it around. Go back to 1 Maccabees 3 and 6. Judas turned that prosperity around to prospering in the law. All right? It was a reversal of their prospering in wickedness. Judas turned it around and prospered in the law. 1 Maccabees 3 and 6.
It's the book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 3, verse 6.
Go ahead.
Is it working?
No, I got to start it over.
Okay, so
Go ahead.
still bring it out.
Yeah, still bring it out.
Okay,
good.
good.
Because we getting it on a main.
Come. Wherefore the wicked shrunk for fear of him, and all the workers of iniquity were troubled, because salvation prospered in his hand.
Salvation what?
Prospered in his hand.
It prospered in his hand. See that? So salvation is deliverance from affliction. All right, y'all can write that down too, or look it up. But another way to say salvation is deliverance from affliction. Now I done died and went to heaven. I'm saved. All right, no. Salvation is a form of deliverance right here on the earth. We're going to enjoy salvation right here on the earth, the kingdom of heaven. All right, come on.
Verse 7. He grieved also many kings and made Jacob glad with his acts, and his memorial is blessed forever.
Go ahead.
Moreover, he went through the cities of Judah, destroying the ungodly out of them, and turning away wrath from Israel, so that he was renowned unto the uttermost parts of the earth, and he received unto him such as were ready to perish. Then Apollonius gathered the Gentiles together and a great host out of Samaria to fight against Israel. Which thing, when Judas perceived, he went forth to meet him, and so he smote him and slew him. Many also fell down slain, but the rest fled.
Good.
Wherefore Judas took their spoils, and Apollonius sword also, and therewith he fought all his life long.
Now everybody write down 2 Maccabees, the 2nd chapter, with 1 Maccabees 3 and 12. In 2 Maccabees, it tells you the story that Jeremiah had a dream and a vision about this defeat right here. An angel came and handed a gold sword to Judas and told him, go and fight all the days long. That was fulfilled in his defeat of Apollonius. All right, this Greek general or warrior. All right. Just the whole chapter. 2 Maccabees, the whole 2nd chapter. It's in there. Just read the whole chapter, yeah. To link up with 1 Maccabees 3 and 12. Read on, 1 Maccabees 3:13.
Verse 13. Now when Siren, a prince of the army of Syria, heard say that Judas had gathered unto him a multitude and company to the faithful to go out with him to war, he said, I will give me a name and honor in the kingdom, for I will go fight with Judas and them that are with him who despise the king's commandment.
Good.
So he made him ready to go up, and there went with him a mighty host of the ungodly to help him, and to be avenged of the children of Israel.
Right, so all the wicked came and said, let's fight against Israel, because they trying to keep their laws, and they trying to fight back against us and keep the wicked inside of the city. Good.
Verse 16. And when he came near to the going up of Betharon, Judas went forth to meet him with a small company,
Come on.
who when they saw the host coming to meet them, said unto Judas, how shall we be able, being so few, to fight against so great a multitude, and so strong, seeing we are ready to faint with fasting all this day? Unto whom Judas answered, it is no hard matter for many to be shut up in the hands of a few. And with the God of heaven, it is all one, to deliver with a great multitude or a small company.
There you go. The power is in the hand of the Most High. All right, that's what, like I tell you in Deuteronomy, how can one chase 1,000 except they rock have sold them? Meaning, in other words, like one Edomite police officer could chase 15 jakes off the corner. Why is he able to do that? Because our power has been taken from us. That's what it's talking about. So on the reverse side, Judas is saying the Most High can deliver with a small number or a great. He just did it in chapter 2 when they was fighting against the other Greek enemies. He said, we killed their men when we only had 5,000, they had 65,000. Right. We only had 1,000, they had 6,000. So he said, it's in the power in the hands of the Most High to defeat the enemy, no matter what the number of the army is. Come on. Yeah. It keeps doing that, and when I log back in, it refreshes, but then it goes out again. But we got it. We got the whole thing on there.
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
Verse 19. For the victory of the battle standeth not in the multitude of an host, but strength cometh from heaven.
Right, it says strength comes from heaven. The Most High will give us the power to defeat these Greeks. Go ahead.
They come against us in much pride and iniquity to destroy us and our wives and children, and to spoil us.
Guys, see, and that's what happens in revolution. Nobody's spared in revolution. Wives, children, and they're really, that destruction also is when a nation conquer you and they destroy the men, what do? The women and children become spoils. Right. They take the women and then they train the children in their fashion. Right. All right, go ahead.
Verse 21. But we fight for our lives and our laws.
Go ahead.
Wherefore Yahweh himself will overthrow them before our face. And as for you, be ye not afraid of them. Now as soon as he had left off speaking, he leapt suddenly upon them, and so Siron and his host was overthrown before him. And they pursued them from the going down of Betharon unto the plain, where were slain about 800 men of them, Salakia. And the residue fled into the land of the Philistines.
Right, so the Most High was with them. He was having them defeat, there these Greek armies that was coming against Judas. Go ahead.
Verse 25. Then began the fear of Judas and his brethren, and an exceeding great dread to fall upon the nations round about them. Insomuch as his fame came unto the king, and all nations talked of the battle of Judas.
Right, see that they start seeing this guy is no joke. Right. He's a mighty warrior. All right, so they start seeing and hearing of the fame of Judas. Go to 1 Maccabees 9 and 19.
Go
1 Maccabees 9:19. With 1 Maccabees 3:26. 1 Maccabees 9 start at 19. Would everybody have it say Khan?
All right.
All right. Good. All right. Good. All right. 1 Maccabees 9:19. Put your spirit into it.
Right. That's right.
All right.
This is the book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 9 and verse 19.
Come on.
Then Jonathan and Simon took Judas their brother and buried him in the scepter of his fathers in Modin.
Right, this is when Judas was killed in battle. Y'all can read the beginning, start at the beginning of the 9th chapter, and you'll find out how Judas was killed in battle. Go ahead.
Moreover, they bewailed him, and all Israel made great lamentation for him, and mourned many days, saying, how is the valiant man falling?
The valiant man, the brave man. How is the brave man fallen? Go ahead.
that delivered Israel.
That's right. He was a known warrior. You know, it's like, damn, how they caught that brother? That brother was defeating, killing everybody. You know, so they was like, you know, kind of shocked at his death. Like, he's such a warrior. You know, you start thinking Cass is untouchable. Right. All right, go ahead.
As for the other things concerning Judas and his wars and the noble acts which he did and his greatness, they are not written, but they were very many.
It said for they were very many. So Judas was a famous warrior. They said he had so many war campaigns, all of them was not recorded. Right. So that's how famous of a warrior he was. He had so many war campaigns. It said it's not even written. Some of his conquests is not even recorded. All right, go back to 1 Maccabees 3:26. So 1 Maccabees 3:26 links up with 1 Maccabees 9:19 to 22. Okay? All right, the fame of Judas Maccabees and his war campaigns. All right, go ahead.
This is the book of 1 Maccabees chapter 3 verse 26. Insomuch as his fame came unto the king, and all nations talked of the battles of Judas.
Come on.
Now when King Antiochus heard these things, he was full of indignation, wherefore he sent and gathered together all the forces of his realm, even a very strong army. He opened also his treasure and gave his soldiers pay for a year, commanding them to be ready whensoever he should need them. Nevertheless, when he saw that the money of his treasures failed, and that the tributes in the country were small because of the dissension and plague which he had brought upon the land, and taking away the laws which had been of old time, he feared that he should not be able to bear the charges any longer.
Right, because war costs money, man.
Right.
You got to pay your soldiers. Right? Remember, what's the guy name? That old Christian dude. He was the 700 Club. You remember that guy, the old Christian Edomite, huh?
Pat Roberts?
Yeah, remember Pat Roberts made a statement. He said, why should we when they was talking about Chavez, they said, why should we waste $3 billion on another war like we did with Saddam Hussein? Why don't we just send the CIA into Venezuela and kill Chavez? Which they eventually did anyway. They try to say Chavez died from some sickness. They poisoned him. The CIA poisoned him. Because Chavez was a thorn in America's side. Remember, he told America, if y'all attack Iran, we're going to attack y'all. And they laughed at him because they was like, Venezuela can't attack America. But that's how much he was a G with it. You know, Chavez, and Chavez came to Harlem. A lot of people don't know, but I believe Chavez knew something. Chavez came to Harlem and he said, he was working with one of the Kennedys, and he said, I'm going to give free gas and oil to the blacks and Latinos in Harlem. So they can have heat in their homes for the winter. Yeah. He came to Harlem to one of the churches. Chavez was no joke, man. And what happened? All of a sudden, he suddenly died. You know what I'm saying? But that's what Pat Roberts said that said, the old demons, man. Acting like Christians, but these cats are lower level Illuminati. They down with the program. Right? He said, yeah, why should we waste $3 billion on another war campaign like we did with Saddam? We ought to just send the CIA in there and kill him. And he told, they kind of was mad at him because he opened his mouth a little bit too much. So are you saying the CIA is responsible for political assassinations, Mr. Roberts? Did you just reveal 700 secrets from the 700 Club, Mr. Pat Roberts? I'm thinking of Oral Roberts, right? Yeah, that's what Pat Roberts said, right? He said, look, let's just go in there and kill Chavez, man. And then Chavez had that oil down there in Venezuela. All right, so, you know, a lot of times they be against, you know, people that speak out and don't fear them.
Right.
Right? Remember, Chavez came to the United Nations and called baby Bush the devil. Right. He said, yesterday the devil stood here and I could still smell the sulfur. Right? The man came to America. He was in the spirit, man. That man knew something, He said specifically he wants to help out the poor blacks and Latinos in Harlem, make sure they have heat in their homes for the winter. Right, they was giving them, trying to give them free gas and oil and petroleum for their homes, you know. So, you know, they can have heating in their homes for the winter. Yeah, and why did he specify the blacks and Latinos?
Right.
All right, so read on.
The book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 3, verse 30 from the top. He feared that he should not be able to bear the charges any longer, nor to have such gifts to give so liberally as he did before. For he had abounded above the kings that were before him. Wherefore, being greatly perplexed in his mind, he determined to go into Persia, there to take the tributes of the countries and to gather much money. So he left Lysias, a noble man and one of the blood royal, to oversee the affairs of the king from the river Euphrates unto the borders of Egypt, and to bring up his son Antiochus until he came again.
Right, that was Antiochus the fifth.
Right.
Eupator. That was the son of Antiochus the fourth. When Antiochus died, he took over. When you read 2 Maccabees 10, I will read that if we have time. Go ahead.
Verse 34. Moreover, he delivered unto him the half of his forces, it's like a forces, and the elephants, and gave him charge of all things that he would have done, as also concerning them that dwelt in Judah and Jerusalem.
Go ahead.
To wit, that he should send an army against them to destroy and root out the strength of Israel and the remnant of Jerusalem, and to take away their memorial from that place, and that he should place strangers in all their quarters, and to divide their land by lot.
See, and that shows you how much they hated us. It said, and to take away their memorial from that place. Right. Meaning they want to kill them off and then maybe erase all the records and act like Judas never even existed. Right. Because what? His memory would encourage future generations. Now, I'm going to fight like my brother. Right. You know what I'm saying? So he tried to even wipe his memory out. Right? Remember, gotta quote that movie 300. Remember, Xerxes said that to Leonidas. He said, there will be no remembrance of your efforts. I will wipe out all the history books of Greece. There will be no remembrance of you. No one will remember you. All right, go ahead.
Verse 37. So the king took the half of the forces that remained and departed from Antioch, his royal city, the 147th year, and having passed the river Euphrates, he went through the high countries. Then Lysias chose he said it's not Ptolemy, the son of Dormenes, and Nicanor, and Gorgias, mighty men of the king's friends.
Go ahead.
And with them he sent 40,000 footmen and 7,000 horsemen to go into the land of Judah and to destroy it as the king commanded.
Right, so for an army of 47,000. All right, come on.
Verse 40. So they went forth with all their power and came and pitched by Emas in the plain country. And the merchants of the country, hearing the fame of them, took silver and gold very much with servants, and came into the temple to buy children of Israel for slaves.
Everybody want to make us slaves, man. Even back then. It said they came to buy the children of Israel for slaves. Go ahead.
A power also of Syria and of the land of Philistines joined themselves unto them.
Right, so the nations had a history of wanting to enslave us. Right. And actually enslaving us. Right. All right, go ahead.
Verse
they
40.
just hated the fact that we were standing up and fighting our enemy. So it said they came to buy us as slaves. All right, go ahead.
Verse 42. Now when Judas and his brethren saw that miseries were multiplied, and that the forces did encamp themselves in the borders, for they knew how the king had given commandment to destroy the people and utterly abolish them, they said one to another, let us restore the decayed estate of our people, and let us fight for our people and the sanctuary.
There you go. It said, let us restore the decayed estate of our people. All right? Like now. We are in decay. Right? Come on.
Verse 44. Then was the congregation gathered together that they might be ready for battle, and that they might pray and ask mercy and compassion. Now Jerusalem lay void as a wilderness. There was none of her children that went in or out. The sanctuary also was trodden down, and aliens
And what?
and aliens
What the Most High called the other
and
nation?
aliens.
Most High called them aliens.
Uh,
So when they talk about Issachar and somebody's an illegal alien, that's the term the Most High gave to these heathens, man. They try to turn it around on us. Illegal aliens. Right? Is Trump still trying to build this wall?
right.
All right. I ain't leaving the damn White House. Even when I leave, still build the wall. All right. Go ahead. Biden going to build. He going to continue to build on the wall, so he can keep you in the damn country and give you a vaccination. 100 million in 100 days. All right. Go ahead.
Wow.
Damn demon. Right. Go ahead.
And aliens kept a stronghold. The heathen had their habitation in that place, and joy was taken from Jacob, and the pipe with the harp ceased.
Go ahead.
Wherefore the Israelites assembled themselves together and came to Masphah over against Jerusalem, for in Masphah was the place where they prayed aforetime in Israel.
Right, there's a lot of meat up in here, man.
Right.
But you know, if we touch on every point, we're gonna be here every night, all night, man. Right, good, yeah, a lot of history and a lot of. That's why you gotta, take your time, read the story, and link things up. Right, bring it out.
Well, I'm asking, can you give us something quick about that?
Read it again.
It was saying, verse 46, wherefore the Israelites assembled themselves together and came to Masphah over against Jerusalem, for in Masphah was the place where they prayed aforetime in Israel.
Right, it was just a place that they went to pray. It was spiritual. You know what I'm saying? They would gather. It was not too far from Jerusalem. And they would go there to pray because it was a spirit, just like in Acts, in the book of Acts, I can't think of it where it is now. There was a river, or there was a body of water where they would used to go pray, and they said an angel would come down.
I've seen that.
An angel would come down at a certain time of the day and heal their infirmities, and they would hear their prayers. So we had sacred places throughout the land where we can actually go and pray. There was a certain spirit there, all right, where the Most High would hear our prayers and deal with us direct. There's a story in Acts, I'll find it, where it said the angel came down, and it said the angel would trouble the water.
Right.
Like you knew the angel was there because the water would shake a certain way at a certain time of the day, and people would actually pray and be healed from their infirmities. All right, so go ahead.
Verse
That's
47.
in Acts. I forget the chapter, but yeah. So we just had sacred places, that we went to pray in the land. Go ahead.
You want it? Verse 47. Then they fasted that day and put on sackcloth and cast ashes upon their heads and rent their clothes.
Go ahead.
And laid open the book of the law, wherein the heathen had sought to paint the likeness of their images.
Right. See that? Well, the Caesar Borgias was not the only time.
Right.
This was back then, during the time of the Greeks. They started taking the books and the Bibles and the records back then and changing them.
Right.
And putting Greek images in there where it's supposed to be Israelite images. It's nothing new. Bring it out.
I think that's John 5:4 what says for angel went down certain seasons.
It might be John. Yeah, I thought
John
it was Acts.
5:4.
John 5 and 4.
I thought
John
it was
5:4.
Acts, but it was. Yeah, I just put that down. John the 5th chapter. Just read the whole chapter for edification. There was something in Acts also though. I might be thinking about another story, but there was something also I believe in the book of Acts. All right, but that was St. John, Salakia. St. John. I'm confusing it with another story in Acts. All right, so where was that in First Maccabees?
49.
Yeah, read on.
Verse 49. They brought also the priests' garments and the first fruits and the tithes, and the Nazarites they stirred up who had accomplished their days.
What? They went back to the law.
Right.
Where's the first fruits found at? In Leviticus 23.
Right.
That's one of the 3 main feasts.
Right.
And what did they do? They acknowledged it back then.
Right.
All right, come on.
Verse 50. Then cried they with a loud voice toward heaven, saying, what shall we do with these? And whither shall we carry them away?
Come on.
For thy sanctuary is trodden down and profaned, and thy priests are in heaviness and brought low. And lo, the heathen are assembled together against us to destroy us. What things they imagine against us, thou knowest. How shall we be able to stand against them, except thou, O God, be our help? Then sounded they with trumpets, and cried with a loud voice. And after this, Judas ordained captains over the people, even captains over thousands, and over hundreds, and over fifties, and over tens.
Right, so they had rank and order in the military structure. You know, some brothers have that now. You have a certain structure and rank system set up in the camps. You know, to keep order, because Israel need order.
God.
You know what I'm saying? Israel don't have no goddamn order, so they need order. Right? You need somebody to keep you in order a lot of times. A lot of times it seems like we only want to listen to Esau. Or somebody that give you an order in the system. Trying to build a nation, nobody want to take no order. Everybody want to be rebellious. But when a white man tell you to do something, you do it.
Yep.
You have to. You know what I'm saying? All right, go ahead.
Verse 56. But as for such as were building houses, or had betrothed wives, or were planting vineyards, or were fearful, those he commanded that they should return every man to his own house according to the law.
Right. That law is in Deuteronomy the 20th chapter. The laws on war. So First Maccabees 3 and 50 was Deuteronomy the 20th chapter. Yeah, remember it tells you, let me see. Go to Deuteronomy. We'll get it real quick. Con. It's probably written a few places. Deuteronomy. Yeah, Deuteronomy 20th chapter. The whole 20th chapter.
Right, I see it.
But now check this out in Deuteronomy 24 and 5. Check this out in Deuteronomy 24 and 5.
Right.
Deuteronomy 24 and 5.
Okay.
And everybody have it, say Karen?
All right. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 24 and verse 5. When a man have taken a new wife, he shall not go out to war, neither shall he be charged with any business, but he shall be free at home 1 year, and shall cheer up his wife which he hath taken.
See that? You had a year to cheer up your wife that you have taken. Right? That'd be nice, right?
Yeah.
Because you got a new wife, man. That was a real honeymoon.
Right.
That was a real honeymoon. Not, oh, we going to Jamaica for 2 weeks, or a week, hell. Or sometimes 4 days. You know, on a weekend. Right? That was a real honeymoon. You got a whole year to stay at home and enjoy your new spouse.
Right.
So the Lord said you didn't have to go out to war. If you took a new wife, you don't have to go to war for a whole year. All right? That was a real honeymoon. Because what? When you even, like you have a courting process, right? You might court 6 months, a year, whatever, 6 days.
Right. No, it isn't.
Y'all married? What? You know what I'm saying? When did that happen? You know? And then that ends in a year later is a damn disaster.
Right.
3 hours on the phone when I'm trying to get to the new moon service, trying to fix y'all situation. I told y'all to take y'all time. No, the hell with the elder. We grown. We can do what we want to do. He didn't tell me when I could deal with a red block. I respect you, elder, but I deal with a woman when I want to. Not a year later, I should have came to you first. I got some counsel. This man is hard, right? Can you talk to our elder? Nope.
Right.
You should have let me talk to her a year ago.
Right.
When I tried to warn you. You know what I'm saying? I know you and the sister liked it in each other.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We're not stupid. But yo, take your time, get to know each other, court, talk. You might be sleeping with the damn enemy. You never know.
Ah,
People say they Israel, but you never know.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
Ah.
take your time. Usually, them hasteful relationships end up in disaster. But the point being, you have the courting, then you get together, then you get married. And the Most High said you still got a year at home to get to know each other and cheer each other up. You know what I'm saying? Enjoy each other. Because it's still a new process. Now it's like, yo, I'm about to spend, we might have courted for 2 years. But now I'm about to spend the rest of my life with you. Or we connected, you know, till this kingdom fall to Yahweh shall come or death. So now I got a whole nother year to get to know you and stay at home with you and for us to build. Then after that year, we like, okay, we good. So it said a man didn't even have to go to war when he took a new wife. That was in the law. All right, go back to 1 Maccabees 3 and 50. So that's Deuteronomy 20. And then it's Deuteronomy 20, and then it's Deuteronomy 24 and 5. But read 1 Maccabees 3 and 50 again. All right. Yeah, that was a law with a man could stay home for a year with his new wife. Can't do that now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Be at
You
your
be
house.
broke as hell, yeah. You know what I'm saying? That wife would be in. Right? God. 50, yeah, 3 and 50 again. First Maccabees. 3 and 50 again.
It says, verse 50, then cried they with a loud voice toward heaven, saying, what shall we do with these, and whither shall we carry them away? For thy sanctuary is trodden down and
No, my bad. 58 again. Salakia, my bad. No, 56. 56 again. Yeah.
First Maccabees chapter 3, verse 56. But as for such as were building houses, or had betrothed wives, or were planting vineyard, or were fearful, those he commanded that they should return every man to his own house according to the law.
So yeah, so if you betrothed a wife, you had a year honeymoon. So you didn't have to go out to war. Okay? So it said those that have betrothed a wife, those that were fearful, if you yellow, yo, stay back, watch the women and the children. You can't, you're not a warrior, man. You're not able to go to war. Are you gonna put that fear in everybody else? All right. It said, Salakia, those that were planting vineyards, the Most High was a merciful power.
Right.
He's not gonna have you just buy a house or marry a wife or plant a vineyard and send you out there to war. He's a just power.
Right.
All right, no, go enjoy your new wife.
Right.
You know, we catch up to you later. Right? Let the rest of the men come and fight. You know.
Right.
That's why a lot of the other nations' armies, they didn't allow you to get married. You had to be single so you could concentrate on war.
Right.
And some of the armies had homosexuals in them.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like the Romans
Right.
and the Greeks.
Yep.
All right, go ahead.
Verse 57. So the camp removed and pitched upon the south side of Amas, and Judah said, arm yourselves and be valiant men,
Arm yourselves and be brave. Come on.
and see that ye be in readiness against the morning, that ye may fight with these nations that are assembled together against us to destroy us and our sanctuary. For it is better for us to die in battle than to behold the calamities of our people and our sanctuary.
See, they said it's better to die in battle. All right, freedom or death. Like a lot of the slaves that revolted,
Right.
they said, listen, man, I can't pick cotton and be in this hot sun and have my back whipped, and I can't do that. Either I'm going to fight or I'm going to run for my freedom or just die.
Right.
Like the Nat Turner rebellions.
Right.
So they just couldn't take it no more, man. All right, I can't suffer this oppression no more. All right, we either going to be free or we just going to die, which is freedom in itself.
Right.
Remember, Esau used to knock the teeth out of the slaves and force feed them because they would try to starve themselves to death. You know, it's better to die than to go through this hell, man. Live and suffer. All right, so they said we choose whether we gonna fight or we gonna die. Either one. Go ahead.
Verse 60, nevertheless, as the will of God is in heaven, so let him do.
See that? Lord willing. All right. People try to say, oh, you say Lord willing because you're not going to do it. No, I don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
Yeah, you know, even people in Israel say that. When there's scriptures about Lord willing. It tell you that in James, we should say, if it be the Most High will, we will do this or that tomorrow. Or you just saying Lord willing because you know you're not going to do it. Nah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. How can you be in the truth and say that? The scriptures say Lord willing. Yeah, but I have brothers say Lord willing because they know they ain't going to be there. Nah, brother. Anything can happen. It could be a damn roadblock. And they say, Negro, you can't go unless you take this vaccine. Hell no, I won't be there. You say Lord willing because you know you're not going to do it. No, it's what the Most High wills. Yeah, man. And people that are brothers in the truth will say that. All right? They just mad because they want to make sure you go and do whatever they want you to do. That's what it is. You know what I'm saying? Don't say Lord willing, I be there, brother. You know what I'm saying? No, Lord willing. Right? Read that. First Maccabees 4:1.
This is the book of First Maccabees, chapter 4 and verse 1. Then Georgius, that's how you say it?
Gorgias, tomato.
Okay. Then Georgius, 5,000.
Shemai, we almost home. We're going to breeze through these chapters. There's a lot. There's so much I would love to touch on, but it's very vast. So we just want to read the story together. Go ahead.
Khan. Then took Georgius 5,000 footmen and 1,000 of the best horsemen, and removed out of the camp by night, to the end he might rush upon the camp of the Jews, and smite them suddenly. And the men of the fortress were his guides. Now when Judas heard thereof, he himself removed, and the valiant men with him, that he might smite the king's army, which was at Emanus. While as yet the forces were dispersed from the camp, in the mean season came Georgius by night into the camp of Judas, and when he found no man there, he sought them in the mountains, for said he, these fellows flee from us. But as soon as it was day, Judas showed himself in the plain with 3,000 men, who nevertheless had neither armor nor swords in their minds. Nor armor nor swords in their minds. Verse 7. And they saw the camp of the heathen, that it was strong and well harnessed and compassed round about the horsemen, and these were expert of war. Then said Judas to the man that were with him, fear ye not their multitude, neither be ye afraid of their assault. Remember how our fathers were delivered in the Red Sea, when Pharaoh pursued them with an army.
Right, so remember, Matthias Maccabees did the same thing in second Maccabees. He said, remember all the times the Most High delivered us. So Judas was being just like his father. He said, remember the Red Sea, hell, y'all ain't even have to fight. The water did the fighting for y'all. All right, so he said the Most High could deliver us in any predicament. Right, come on.
Now therefore, let us cry unto heaven, if peradventure the Lord will have mercy upon us.
The Lord's will, all right? He said peradventure, which means perhaps. Now therefore, let us cry unto heaven, if perhaps the Lord will have mercy upon us. Go ahead.
And remember the covenant of our fathers, and destroy this host before our face this day.
Go ahead.
That so all the heathen may know that there is one who delivereth and saveth Israel.
There you go. The heathen may know there is one. Right? He said, listen, show the nations that you're dealing with us. Show the nations that you're with us, that they may know there is one that delivereth Israel. Right? Come on.
Then the strangers lifted up their eyes and saw them coming over against them. Wherefore they went out of the camp to battle. But they that were with Judas sounded their trumpets. So they joined battle, and the heathen, being discomfited, fled into the plain. Howbeit all
hindmost.
Howbeit all the hindmost of them were slain by the sword, for they pursued them unto Gazara, and unto the plains of Idumea, and Azotus, and Jamnia, so that there were slain of them upon a 3,000 men. This done, Judas returned again with his host from pursuing them, and said to the people, Be not greedy of the spoils, inasmuch as there is a battle before us, and Gorgias and his host are here by us in the mountain. But stand ye now against our enemy, and overcome them, and after this ye may boldly take the spoils.
Right, win the battle first, then you can, you can get the goods. All right, go ahead.
As Judas was yet speaking these words, there appeared a part of them looking out of the mountain, who when they perceived that the Jews had put their host to flight, and were burning the tents, for the smoke that was seen declared what was done. When therefore they perceived these things, they were sore afraid. And seeing also the host of Judas in the plain ready to fight, they fled every one into the land of strangers. And Judas returned to spoil the tents, where they got much gold and silver and blue silk and purple of the sea and great riches. After this they went home and sung a song of thanksgiving, and praised the Lord in heaven, because it is good, because his mercy endured forever.
Right, that's Psalms 136. Oh, give thanks unto the Lord, for he is good, for his mercy endureth forever. Right, so they sung a song of thanksgiving. Here's true thanksgiving.
Right.
All right. We slaughtered them damn Greeks.
Right.
And made a celebration out of it. Thanksgiving. All right, go ahead.
Verse 25.
And sung about it.
Right.
All right, go ahead.
Verse 25. Thus Israel had a great deliverance that day. Now all the strangers that had escaped came and told Lysias what had happened, who, when he heard thereof, was confounded and discouraged, because neither such things as he were done unto Israel, nor such thing as the king commanded him were come to pass. The next year, therefore, following Lysias, gathered together 70,000 choice men of foot and 5,000 horsemen, that he might subdue them. So they came into Idumea and pitched their tents at Bethshura, and Judas met them with 10,000 men. And when he saw that mighty army, he prayed and said, Blessed art thou, O Savior of Israel, who didst quell the violence of the mighty man by the hand of the servant David, and gavest the host of strangers into the hand of Jonathan, the son of Saul, and his armor bearers.
Right, so he went back to David killing Goliath, and then some of the war campaigns of Jonathan. All right, go ahead.
Shut up his army in the hand of thy people Israel, and let them be confounded in their power and horsemen. Make them to be of no courage, and cause the boldness of their strength to fall away, and let them quake at their destruction. Cast them down with the sword of them that love thee, and let all those that know thy name praise thee with thanksgiving. So they joined battle, and there were slain of the host of Lysias about 5,000 men. Even before them were they slain. Now when Lysias saw his army put to flight, the manliness of Judas' soldiers, and how they were ready either to live or die,
Valiantly.
say it again.
Valiantly.
He went to Antiochia and gathered together a company of strangers, and having made his army greater than it was, he proposed to come again into Judea. Then said Judas and his brethren, Behold, our enemies are discomfited. Let us go up and cleanse and delicate the sanctuary.
Right, and that's Daniel's 8:14.
Dedicate the sanctuary.
Dedicate the sanctuary. That's Daniel 8:14, when it said the sanctuary would be cleansed.
Right.
That was the fulfillment of the prophecy right there. All right, read on.
Dedicate the sanctuary. Verse 37. Upon this, all the hosts assembled themselves together and went up to Mount Zion. And when they saw the sanctuary desolate, and the altar profaned, and the gates burned up, and the shrubs growing in the courts as in the forest, or in one of the mountains, yea, the priest's chambers pulled down. They rent their clothes and made great lamentation, and cast ashes upon their head, and fell down flat to the ground upon their faces, and blew an alarm with the trumpets, and cried toward heaven. And Judas appointed certain men to fight against those that were in the fortress, until he had cleansed the sanctuary. So he chose priests of blameless conversation, such as had pleasure in the law, who cleansed the sanctuary and bare out the defiled stones into the unclean place. And when as they consulted what to do with the altar of burnt offerings, which was profane, they thought it best to pull it down, lest it should be a reproach to them, because the heathen had defiled it, wherefore they pulled it down, and laid up the stones in the mountain of the temple in a convenient place, until there should come a prophet to show what should be done with them. Verse 47. Then they took whole stones according to the law, and built a new altar according to the former, and made the sanctuary and the things that were within the temple, and hollowed the courts. They made also new holy vessels, and into the temple they brought candlestick, and the altar of burnt offerings, and incense, and the table.
Right, so what's the candlestick? By show of hands. Tobiah?
The menorah.
Correct. All right, go ahead.
Just like you.
Just making sure.
I had a few questions. One was 38. When it says shrubs, is that weeds?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like they say shrubbery.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then 46, when it says is that just saying any priest?
Yeah,
per
not,
se?
or the Most High rose up somebody, because we have prophets and seers throughout all time.
Oh, okay.
So they would say, like, once they saw a man of the Most High and the Spirit was with him, and he said, look, this is what the Most High wants you to do. Mm-hmm. They would, like it said in Ezekiel, they seek a vision of the prophet.
Okay.
So they was like, until a man, the Most High raise up a man to direct us what to do, because our relationship with the Most High was serious. So we didn't want to just do anything.
Right.
We always use wisdom. We'll wait till the Most High show us.
Right.
Like when Israel was rebelling against Moses, and he said, look, I'm going to stand back and see what the Most High wants to show me to do. You know what I'm saying? Right. So a lot of times our forefathers did that. They said, well, we're going to do the best we could do for now until the Most High show us something else, or a prophet come along and direct us on what to do.
Okay.
And we have to see that that man is sent from the Most High.
Come.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, verse 50. And upon the altar they burnt incense, in the lamps that were upon the candlestick they lighted it, that they might give light in the temple. Furthermore, they set the loaves upon the table, and spread out the veils, and finished all the works which they had begun to make. Verse 52. Now on the 25th day of the 9th month, which is called the month of Casalu, in the 148th year, they rose up betimes in the morning, and offered sacrifices according to the law upon the new altar of burnt offerings which they had made. Look at what time and what day the heathen had profaned it. Even in that was it dedicated with songs and citerns and harps and cymbals.
Right, we went over that yesterday, how the same day the temple was defiled, the same day the Most High cleansed it and made that the first day of Feast of Dedication. And notice one of the first things they did when they cleansed the temple, they lit the candlestick. Right. That it might give light in the temple, because the temple was all dark, desolate. It was shrubs. It was swine and unclean animals in there. That's the filth of Esau and the Gentiles. So they kind of cleansed it up. They said, light the menorah, bring light. That's why the menorah is so important with the vibration of the Feast of Dedication, because that's one of the first things they did to bring that life back to the temple. All right, go ahead.
Then all people fell upon their faces, worshiping and praising the God of heaven.
And Salakia, remember, you can read, just to reiterate, you can read 1 Maccabees 1:54 to the end, and it'll show you the same day the temple was defiled. The heathens defiled it, and then 3 years later, the Most High had them cleanse it. All right, go ahead.
Verse 55 again. Then all the people fell upon their faces.
Yeah, 154 to the end. I think the last verse is like 60 something. All right. Go ahead. It'll show you when you read the actual day. It was the same. It was the 9th month, 25th day that they had defiled the temple. All right. Go ahead.
Verse 55. Then all the people fell upon their faces, worshiping and praising the God of heaven, who had given them good success.
Right. See that? Moses said he gave them good success.
That's Joshua 1:8.
Yeah, that's Joshua 1. You can start at 7 to 9. Joshua 1:7 to 9.
So verse 56.
Matter of fact, get that. Yeah. Joshua 1, 7 through 9. Salakia to the brothers and sisters on the live. The live keeps going in and out. It's Wi-Fi issues, but we got it recorded and it'll be backed up on H.O.I LA. So anything you missed when the service was going in and out, it'll be on the YouTube channel either tomorrow or Tuesday. All right. So what I told you to get? Joshua 1:7. Read Joshua 1:7 to verse 9.
You got it up? Come on, I can bring it up. It's the book of Joshua, chapter 1, verse 7. Only be thou strong and very courageous.
Right. So in the ancient time, the Most High told us to be strong. During the time of the Maccabees, he said, "Be valiant." Right. Go ahead.
That thou mayest observe to do according to all the law which Moses my servant commanded thee.
Right. Go back to keeping the law. Go ahead.
Turn not from it.
Turn not from it. Go ahead.
To the right hand or to the left.
Right. Don't turn from the law to the right or the left. Come on.
That thou mayest prosper whithersoever thou goest.
Yeah.
This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth.
This book of the law shall not depart out of your mouth. Go ahead.
But thou shalt meditate therein day and night.
Right. Meditate. Everything is going back to the law. All right. Come on.
That thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein.
Go ahead.
For then thou shalt make thy way prosperous.
Then you're going to make your way prosperous. Come on.
And then thou shalt have good success.
There you go. All right. That was verse 8, right?
Come.
All right. Go back to 1 Maccabees 3 and 6. Go back to 1 Maccabees 3 and 6. Read that.
This is the book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 3 and verse 6. Wherefore the wicked shrunk for fear of him, and all the workers of iniquity were troubled, because salvation prospered in his hand.
And what?
Salvation prospered in his hand.
Now go back to Joshua 1 and 8. It says salvation prospered in Judah's hand. What did Joshua say in 1 and 8? Read it again.
This is the book of Joshua, chapter 1, verse 8. This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth.
Go ahead.
But thou shalt meditate therein day and night.
Right.
That thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein. For then thou shalt make thy way prosperous.
Then you're going to prosper. So how did salvation prosper in Judah's hand? Because he was fighting for the law. Remember in the 2nd chapter it said we fight for our laws and our lives. All right, go ahead.
For then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success.
Right, so go down to 1 Maccabees 4:55 again.
Con. This is the book of Maccabees, 1 Maccabees chapter 4 and verse 55. Then all the people fell upon their faces, worshiping and praising the Most High of heaven, who had given them good success.
Who have what?
Giving them good success.
Right, because they fought for the laws. So how does prosperity and good success come? From keeping the law. And fighting for the law in the case of the Maccabees. Going back to how we started the service yesterday. Romans 12.
Right.
Your body as a living sacrifice. They gave of themselves. They put their lives on the line to fight for the laws. And that's how you get prosperity and good success. There you go. And that's how you get salvation.
Right.
All right, go ahead.
Verse
But the
56.
Christian tell you the law is done away with.
Right. You sinning if you keep
Right? You sin,
Yep.
or you sinning if you keep the law. You're
Yep.
actually sinning if you keep the law.
Yep.
You're keeping them feast days, you actually in sin.
It
You
is
follow
sin.
the Jews' religion. All right, go ahead.
Verse 56. And so they kept the dedication of the altar 8 nights and offered burnt offerings
8
with
days.
Salaki.
With days and nights.
Salaki. And they kept the dedication of the altar 8 days and offered burnt offerings with gladness and sacrificed the sacrifice of deliverance and praise. They decked also the forefront of the temple with crowns of gold and with shields, and the gates and the chambers they renewed and hanged doors upon them. Thus they were very great gladness. Salaki. Verse 58. Thus was there very great gladness among the people, for that the reproach of the heathen was put away.
Go ahead.
Moreover, Judas and his brethren with the whole congregation of Israel ordained that the days of the dedication of the altar should be kept in their season from year to year by the space of 8 days, from the 25th day of the month of Caslu, with mirth and gladness. Verse 60. At that time also they build up the Mount Zion with high walls and strong towers round about, lest the Gentiles should come and tread it down, as they had done before. And they set there a garrison to keep it, and fortified Bethsura to preserve it, that the people might have a defense against Idumea.
Right, they may have a defense against Idumea, Edom.
Right.
All right, the Greek way of saying Edom. So basically, y'all understand from yesterday and the opening verses 52 to 61, the opening of your feast of dedication on Hanukkah. All right, so the first, write this down. The first Hanukkah or feast of dedication was kept on December 14th. December 14th, 164 BC. 164 BC was the first Hanukkah or feast of dedication kept. December 14th, 164 BC. So are we in the right season? You shouldn't be having Hanukkah in October. You shouldn't be having Hanukkah in damn February.
It was winter.
It was winter. All these damn calendars all over the place. And December 14th is what? Is an exactly a week from the winter solstice. All right, December 21st, my born day. All right, you know what I'm saying? When the winter solstice comes in and it so-called converts to winter. But a lot of times before the 21st, you start feeling that cold damn weather, man.
Yeah.
Like the end of November, first week, depending on where you at, certain cities. So it's the winter season. It's the white. Your Hanukkah may not always fall after the 21st, but it's a season where the winter is coming in. It's late fall, damn near. You might as well call it winter. So a lot of people already consider December winter, man. Yeah. It start being brick. I'm looking at the pictures from back east. Cats is bundled up like damn snowmen. You know what I'm saying? Right? Yeah, man. You know, because why? In certain places, it's already like 30 degrees, and that's the high.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. It's 20 at night or whatever. So they're already feeling winter weather, right? All right, so we in the right season. And that's what the scholars and the historians, that's the date they give for the first official Feast of Dedication. That's why what? Yahushua comes along, 30 BC, 29 BC, whatever you know, certain day around that time, circa, all right? About 200 years later, Yahushua steps on the scene, and the Feast of Dedication is in full effect. Because we've been keeping it from that time the Most High ordained it through the Maccabees. Go ahead, sis.
Is there a significance to, like, when you're lighting the menorah for Hanukkah, is there a significance to lighting one candle each night, or do you light them all?
No, that is most like most brothers and sisters, they light one candle per night just to remind them what day it is. But that's not really nothing in the scriptures or the history concerning that. A lot of brothers and sisters will say that's an Amalek custom, to light one candle for each night. And I got into an argument, not an argument, but a brother called himself checking me. I said, nah, I just do it to remind me what day it is. You know what I'm saying? But for the most, I've gotten more into the spirit of just lighting the whole thing each day. Because really, it's only 7 on there, and it's for 8 days. So eventually, one day you're going to run out, like, okay, it's the 7th day, but I ain't got one for the 8th day. And we ain't going to make no H branch menorah. So more so, I just get in the habit. Like, I might like 4 candles, like I did last night or the other day. And I said, happy 4th day, to remind Israel what day we in. Or sometimes, see, a lot of brothers and sisters forget that is an 8-day feast. We might do the opening and the closing, and then it's like the days in between is like, yeah. You know, so it's like kind of remind, we still in the feast. We still in the 8-day feast. It's still that time of dedication. Let me read some scriptures on it. Pray. Have joyous time in my house. Cook, family, whatever. You know, get my yayan on. I'm still in the spirit of celebration. Just because it's the 3rd or 4th or 5th day, don't mean we're still not in the spirit of Hanukkah. Dedication. Because like in the past, we would do the opening, closing. Nothing really would happen in between. The days in between would be like regular days. Like, don't forget it's the 3rd day of Hanukkah, brother. You know, we still in the 8-day feast. Just like Tabernacles. It's 8 days. You dwelt in the tents and it was an 8-day feast, you know. So, like, me personally, I don't see no scripture or history that we did that. It became a tradition with me to remind me what day it was. And then once I got up to 7, I was like, all right, it's almost over. There's only one more day, so I can't forget that, you know. Yeah.
But it's just nothing against it, or
it's nothing against it. No, like I said, my brother from another camp tried to come on my Facebook and you're following Jewish tradition and you know, and I played the humble route, and I'm kicking myself now. Because you know how you think back and be like, I should have ate that nigga. I should have ate that nigga alive. His over-righteous, I should have tore him up. You know what I'm saying? I should have went in on that nigga. But I took the humble route. All right, brother, if you say it's looking too much like Jewish tradition, okay, brother. All right, brother, I understand. I didn't take my post down. But I said, all right, brother, I hear where you coming from. But then I was like, you know, those times you be like, damn, I was humble. I want this shit. Took his damn head off. You know what I'm saying? But I said, nah, you know, let me stay humble about it. You know what I'm saying? Because I would have ate him up with his over-righteousness. You know what I'm saying? Brother, what sin am I committing? He's trying to say you're going to put a stumbling block in front of Israel and it's Jewish tradition and okay, all right, Dad. You know what I'm saying? I'm teaching you a lesson here, boy. You know, he was like talking to me like that on the post. You know, he put out some scripture in Matthew about traditions of men and you know, with no understanding, of course.
About lighting the menorah or about Hanukkah in
The
general?
one candle for each day. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But nigga, it's my menorah at the end of the day. I light it however I want to put it right, you know what I'm saying? When it really comes down to it, I light it however the hell I want to light it. If I want to do one candle per day, I can do that. You know, but like I said, just for the spirit's sake, I just got in the habit of each day lighting up, or you know, and like if I forget a day, I mean, oh man, I'll double up. I light it while it's still light and while it's dark. You know what I'm saying? Just to keep that spirit in vibration. Now somebody gonna try to check me on that. You're supposed to light it at sundown, brother, not during the daylight. God damn, it's my menorah. I light it when I want to. You know what I'm saying? But Israel just be so petty. But see, my thing is, if that works for you, brother, okay, fine. If that makes you closer to the kingdom, then me, fine, brother. You know, like I like to say, if that gets you in the kingdom 5 minutes before me, more power to you. I see you in 5 minutes. Because I lit my menorah 1 candle for each day. But damn it, I'm still there. I still made it in, but you got there. You was a little more righteous, so you got there 5 minutes before me. The most I said, you didn't light your candle. You light your candle 7, so you come in the kingdom before Zabbath. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. You know what I'm saying? That's why the scriptures say, don't be over righteous because you'll destroy yourself. You'll start bugging out. I can't do nothing. You know, you're being over righteous. You know? So, you know, it's really nothing per se that I've read. I've only read that Amalek does that, honestly. But, like, years ago, I had one of the menorahs that light up with the 9 branches, because that's really all we could find at one time. You know what I'm saying? Until we start really digging, doing research, and then they had to go overseas or get contacts overseas to get the proper menorahs. You know what I'm saying? But I had a 9 branch, and I used to light that. I used to light 1 bulb per night, you know, to remind me, like, okay, it's the 6th night, 7th night, and I would, like, kind of like I do now, I would do a post for most of the nights, you know, H.O.I, HANUKKAH, day 5 or whatever. So I had that for years, and then like I would light 1 light, and then sometime I would light all of them up. But I would light 7. The last 2 on the end, I would keep them out. I would just light the 7. So you know, I guess I was off for that. The elder got a 9-branch menorah in his house. You know what I'm saying? I only light 7, all right. I'll be in the kingdom 10 minutes later. Like Killer Priest said, I see you when I get there. You know, you'll be there a few minutes before me. But you know, that's all I had. And I used to put the menorah in my window. Like, yeah, I'm Hebrew. I'm proud. I'm celebrating Hanukkah. But I would light 1 lamp each night to remind me of what day it was. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, just all right. Just get the 7-branch menorah. And just light it every day at sundown for the 8 days to be on the safe side. That's it, okay? Don't be over righteous. You know, but, you know, brothers will say that's a Jewish tradition. I don't do it because of Amalek. It is what it is, you know. But like I said, I would, like even the other day when I lit the 4, then I just blew them out and put the 3 and lit the whole thing, you know. But if you want to play it safe, sundown each night, light on 7. That's it for the 8 days. Wow, you good money. All right? Keep it safe. But that over righteousness will drive you crazy. Man. It'll bug you out. Yeah. All right, so go to 2 Maccabees 10:1 now. Yeah, have you bugging out, man. Yeah, brother.
Just say no bugging.
That's camp doctrine. Don't follow camp doctrine. You know, let them alone.
Right.
Oh damn, yeah, let's wind it down. Salaki. 2 Maccabees 10:1.
This is the book of 2 Maccabees, chapter 10, verse 1. Now Maccabeus and his company, Yahweh guiding them, Salakia. Let's start it from the top again. Now Maccabeus and his company, Yahweh guiding them, recovered the temple and the city. But the altars which the heathen had built in the open street, and also the chapels, they pulled down. And having cleansed the temple, they made another altar, and striking stones, they took fire out of them and offered a sacrifice after 2 years. and set forth incense and lights and shewbread. When that was done, they fell flat down.
Remember, it said offer a sacrifice after 2 years because Judas came into power in 166 BC and they cleansed the temple in 164 BC. So that was 2 years. All right? Go ahead. He came into power after his father died in 167 BC. And then Judas came into power, you know, as that year ended out into 166 BC. And then he cleansed the temple 2 years later in 164 BC. That's why I said after 2 years. Good.
Verse 4. When that was done, they fell flat down and besought Yahweh that they might come no more into such troubles. But if they sinned any more against him, that he himself would chasten them with mercy, and that they might not be delivered unto the blasphemous and barbarous nations.
So basically they said, listen, if we, because Israel, we were spiritual back then. We knew the Most High was judging us because we sinned. So he said, listen, if we sin against the Most High again, if he's going to judge us, don't let him use these Greeks, man. Don't let him use these heathens. Judge us some other kind of way, Lord. But don't let us fall into the hand of our enemies, man. All right, remember, it tells you that in Sirach, I think 25, there's no revenge worse than revenge of an enemy. So he said, don't let us fall into the blasphemous and barbarous nations again. He called Antiochus blasphemous because he called himself Epiphany. Meaning God manifests. Antiochus Epiphanes, God manifests on the earth. So he said, man, don't let us fall to these blasphemous Greeks anymore. Lord, punish us something. Bring an earthquake or something rather than to bring these devils on us, man. All right, go ahead.
Verse 5. Now upon the same day that the strangers profaned the temple. So
now, 2 Maccabees chapter 10, verses 1 to 9, it's a summary of everything we just read. Okay. All right, it sums it all up in those 9 verses. Okay. All right, go ahead.
On the very same day it was cleansed again, even the 25th day of the same month, which is Caslu, and they kept 8 days.
And he keep reiterating it. The same day they defiled it, the Most High cleansed it. All right, go ahead.
With gladness, as in the Feast of Tabernacles.
They kept 8 days with gladness, as in the Feast of Tabernacles. It didn't say nothing about there was one bottle of oil for 1 day and it lasted for 8 days. And like I said, the Most High could have did that, and that would have added a certain, you know, righteous spill to the story. But it don't say nothing about that in the scriptures in the history. That's Jewish folklore. They're trying to, you know, sensationalize the story, which you don't have to do that. It's already a miracle within itself. All right, and like I said, the Most High could have did that, and if that was part of the story, we could say, oh, the oil lasted for 8 days, so they made it an 8-day feast. No, they ordained it and they patterned it after the Feast of Tabernacles. We don't make this stuff up. I just been saying this throughout the Hanukkah lessons, and you see it right here. All right, go ahead.
Remembering that not long afore they had held the Feast of the Tabernacles, when as they wandered in the mountains and dens like beasts.
See that? So when Amalek brings their story about the oil in, you don't even realize part of the reason why they made it the 8 days, because they had just kept the Feast of Tabernacles and they couldn't keep it properly because they were still going to war at that time. So they kept it in the dens and the wilderness. But they still did it. But they said, now we're going to keep this Feast of Dedication 8 days like the Feast of Tabernacles, because we couldn't keep the Tabernacles properly while we were still at war.
Right.
And they were still at war, but they had a little bit more control of the city and the temple now. So there's no legend about the oil was only lasting for 8 days, for 1 day, and it lasted for 8. This is why it's an 8-day feast. Right. There's your answer right there. All right, go ahead.
Verse 7.
So I tell you, everything is in the scriptures. We can stay right here and go through the whole. That history just adds a whole nother element to it. Right. It just takes it on a whole nother level. But the scriptures right here. Right, go ahead.
Verse 7. Therefore they bear branches and fair bowls.
And this first Feast of Dedication, they took the branches and the bowls like we do on Feast of Tabernacles. We don't necessarily have to do that every feast, but they did that as a memorial because they said, we're going to kind of combine some elements of the Feast of Tabernacles into this because we couldn't keep it properly 2 months ago while we was still when we was out in the wilderness, and we just did the best we could. All right, go ahead.
And palms also, and sang psalms unto him that had given them good success.
Now, it doesn't really mention anything about dwelling in the tents or the booths. I don't know if they did that. I never read that anywhere. I'm not going to. But they did take the branches and the palms like we did on Tabernacles. You can read that in Leviticus 23. It doesn't say anything about them dwelling in booths, though. So, you know, if they did that, it's not mentioned. All right? I'm not going to add to the scripture. Right, go ahead.
Them good success in cleansing his place.
They're going to have good success again, and they're going to have cleansing again. Remember the cleansing in Daniel 8, the prophecy, and the good success in Joshua 1. So it's all right there. Right? Go ahead.
They ordain also by a common statute and decree that every year those days should be kept of the whole nation of the Jews. And this was the end of Antiochus called Epiphanes.
Epiphanes, yeah. Right. That was the end of Antiochus Epiphanes because he died after that.
Right.
All right. So there you go. There's your Hanukkah feast of dedication. 1, 2, 3. In a nutshell. You see it, you see it. You don't, you don't. Right. All right. Go to St. John 10 now. Let's just bring it on home with Yahushua. So that's why now I say, like I said, about, let's say, roughly about 200 years later, Yahushua comes on the scene, and the Feast of Dedication is being kept every year because they ordained it. We just read it was ordained in 164 BC. So from that time on, by the time you get to AD, what is being kept for almost 200 years already?
Exactly.
All right, there you go. And the Most High could do that. It don't have to be in Leviticus 23. If he wanted to add the damn feast day yesterday, he can do that. All right, so read that.
This is the book of St. John, chapter 10, and verse 22. And it reads, and it was at Jerusalem, the feast of dedication, and it was winter.
There you go. It was winter, the mean season. Which the mean season can also mean in the meantime. All right, go ahead.
And Yahushua walked in the temple in Solomon's porch.
Right, because the people were gathering. He walked in the temple in Solomon's porch. Go ahead.
Then came the Jews round about him and said unto him, how long doest thou make us to doubt? If thou be the Christ, tell us plainly.
You didn't see that? All right, they was gainsaying at the feast, man. Come on, man. If you be the Christ, tell us, man. If you to be the Mashiach. Because that goes to show you, they knew Yahushua was prophesied in the Old Testament. All right, come on.
Verse 25. Yahushua answered them, I told you, and ye believe not.
He said, look, man, I done told y'all already, and y'all still don't believe. Right, jump up to 19.
Verse 19. There was a division, therefore, again among the Jews for these sayings.
Go ahead.
And many of them said, he hath a devil.
They try to say Yahushua was he had demons on him. All right, go ahead.
And is mad.
He's a madman, right? Go ahead.
Why hear ye him?
I said, don't listen to this guy. He's bugged out of his mind. They say that about us now. We crazy. We in a cult. Hate group. All right? You racist. All right, go ahead.
Others said, these are not the words of him that hath the devil.
It said, these are not the words of him that have a devil. So what? Yahushua, when you read down, he said, I told y'all and y'all believe me not. And right here it said it was a division amongst the Jews because some of them believed him, some of them didn't. All right? And some of them said, these are not the words of him that have a devil. This man healing people, teaching. Some of the people said he's crazy. He's bugged out of his mind. Okay? All right, so let's get a few new moon scriptures and we'll close it out. All right, go to Numbers 10 and 10. All right, so this is also the new moon 10th month. Okay? Tonight is a Sabbath also. All right, so when you have the Feast of Dedication, you're going to have 2 Sabbaths. within the Feast of Dedication. The regular Shabbat, and you're going to have a new moon. You're always going to have those two. I don't care what year it falls. You're always going to have a new moon, and you're always going to have a regular Shabbat within the 8 days of the Feast of Dedication. Now, the opening and the closing day, when you check it out, it was never really ordained as a Sabbath. If you choose to keep it as a Shabbat, that's on you. You could, you know, but they patterned it after the Feast of Tabernacles, but the first and 8th day are not necessarily Sabbaths. All right, that's up to your discretion. Some years I would do it, some years I wouldn't. But as I read more, I don't really see where they made it a Sabbath on the first and 8th day. We just come together on those days because it's an 8-day celebration. Okay? All right, go ahead. But if you want to get in the kingdom 20 minutes before somebody else, you can open them and close them as a Sabbath. Right? Go ahead. Right? Go ahead.
This is the book of Numbers, chapter 10, verse 10. It says, also in the day of your gladness.
Right, so tonight is also a day of gladness. See how beautiful the Most High is? He bring a double feast within our 8 days of celebration. He said, in the 8 days of celebrating, I'm going to give you the new moon too. All right, go ahead.
And in your solemn days.
And in your solemn days, your days of sincerity. Take them serious. Like I said, I got to reiterate. That's why we started with Romans 12. Take our ancestors' sacrifice serious. They gave their lives, right, for the Lord. They said, we read it yesterday. We fight for our lives and laws. All right, come on.
And in the beginning of your months.
The beginning of your months. Tonight starts the 10th month according to the Hebrew calendar. December or Dec meaning 10.
Right.
All right? It'll tell you that in the dictionary if you look it up.
Yeah.
December's the 10th month. But on this calendar is the 12th month. Because Dec means 10. All right? Go ahead.
Ye shall blow with the trumpets over your burnt offerings and over the sacrifices of your peace offerings, that they may be to you for a memorial before your power. I am Yahweh, your power.
Right, and that's when we still had the priest set up, and we had the different burnt offerings that we were supposed to burn on the new moon. All right, to the Most High. Read it again from the top.
From the top. Also in the day of your gladness.
So make the feast day a day of gladness. All right, don't make it a burden. Don't make it, I just got to do this. No, make it, look forward to it. Make it a day of gladness. You know, the Most High is a beautiful power because He gives us the same season as this pagan season, so we can offset that vibration.
Right.
All right, go ahead.
And in your solemn days, and in the beginning of your months.
The beginning of your months. And hey, you should love the new moon, because that means you're a month closer to Yahweh's return. A month closer to the destruction of this society.
Right.
A month closer to 100 million doses in 100 days.
Right.
All right?
Right.
My man Joe Biden. Not Joe Biden, Joe Biden.
Sleepy Joe.
Right? Go ahead, Sleepy Joe. Come on.
Ye shall blow with the trumpets over your burnt offerings, and
Blow with the trumpet over your burnt offerings. Go ahead.
And over the sacrifices of your peace offerings.
Now, we don't have the temple now. We don't have that set up like we had during the time of Solomon, but we burn our incense, we burn the candlestick, blow the shofar. Just a rehearsal. All right? Go ahead.
That they may be to you for a memorial before your power.
Right. The Most High wants us to remember,
Right.
everything before Him. Come on.
I am Yahweh, your power.
He's Yahweh, our power. Go to Psalms 81, 3 and 4. Psalms 81, 3 and 4. So it's the new moon 10th month. 10th month. According to the Brew calendar. All right. Yeah, Psalms 81, 3 and 4. Psalms 81, 3 and 4. All we got is this word, man. That's it. And each other. Come together in righteousness as much as we can. I heard, I didn't even know, the brother Tobiah told me there's another camp out here. I won't say any names, but you know, what's the word I'm looking for? In a perfect Israelite world, we can come together and have a nice big feast of dedication together. But in a niggeristic, selfish, evil Israelite world, that ain't happening. All right, and I'm not too concerned about it because certain brothers I'm not dealing with, straight up. All right, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying, and that's the Spirit guiding me to do that. All right, but I didn't even know the brothers, the other camp was out here. I guess they doing a Hanukkah celebration out here too. But I'm glad to be with my family. Kind.
God.
You know what I'm saying? I've never been big on numbers and nothing like that. So if I could be with 5 sincere brothers and sisters or 500, you know, let us come and serve the Lord. You know, but the Most High will fix all that. That's why Paul said in 1 Corinthians, judge nothing before it's time. Like, we got to do an updated lesson on unity and Israel coming together, because everybody gets simple and emotional. That's another thing. You can't be emotional in this truth. You cannot force yourself to be with brothers and sisters when the Spirit is not there. Right. You know what? It's gonna end up being worse. The relationship is going to end up being worse when y'all break apart. Y'all going to hate each other because you tried to force it, and you're going to see how different y'all are and not. Hell no. You know what I'm saying? So let the Spirit of the Most High do it. Judge nothing before it's time. The Most High got this. Just be patient and do your part. Stay where you at. Build where you at. And you're going to be cordial to brothers and sisters, fine. If you're going to deal with all of Israel, fine, as long as they accept you and treat you like a brother or sister. But you cannot force this thing. I'm going to say that to the day Yahushua put, the Most High put that spirit, the right spirit for this nation to come back. So you can't force it. You know what I'm saying? You got to understand that. Read what you got.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 81 and verse 3.
Go ahead.
Blow up the trumpet in the new moon.
So blow up the trumpet in the new moon. Go ahead.
In the time appointed on our solemn feast day.
Right, that's our solemn feast day. Notice the Most High keep using that word solemn. Solemn, grave, sincere. Take it serious. Go ahead.
For this was a statute for Israel and a law of the Most High of Jacob.
Right, it was a statute for Israel and a law. Is in the law. The book of Numbers, the book of Leviticus. You got that doctrine. Brothers, certain people don't keep the new moon. Certain Hebrews argue with me. You keeping the new moon? That ain't in the Torah. What are you talking about? Numbers is the Torah. Leviticus 23 is the Torah. And the book of Psalms just said it was a law of the power of Jacob. So, Israel is crazy as hell, man. Crazy as cat-ish. Like you say. I ain't gonna say the word though. We gotta be crazy as cat-ish. Yeah, man. You know what I'm saying? Just trying to out-knowledge each other. For lack of a better expression, I call it out-knowledge. Trying to out-knowledge each other. And then a lot of times you're wrong. Right. You come with the doctrine like you're going to correct somebody and you'll be wrong. You know what I'm saying? Go to 1 Maccabees 10 and 33. We'll show you during the time of the Maccabees, they kept the new moon. All right, yeah, we in the midst of Hanukkah, Feast of Dedication, remembering Judas and the Maccabees, and they kept the new moon also. 1 Maccabees 10:33, I think it's 33 and 34. Read that. Since we're in the 10th month, let's read the 10th chapter of Maccabees. Right?
This is the book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 10, and verse 33. And it reads, moreover, I freely set at liberty every one of the Jews.
We know hangout time is almost there. Let's not get too antsy. All right. No. Good.
Verse 33. Moreover, I freely set a liberty every one of the Jews.
So now, when you read 1st and 2nd Maccabees, I forgot to bring this out. I normally mention this every year. First and Second Maccabees deals with the internal warfare amongst the Greeks and the Romans and amongst Israel. That is two key elements to the story of the Maccabees. It's really dealing with internal warfare amongst the Greeks and the Romans and internal warfare amongst Israel. And I'm going to leave it like that. Y'all read it on your own and y'all see. But I'll give y'all some clues. They were fighting over the high priesthood in Jerusalem. You had wicked sellout Israelites that wanted to war with the Greeks program. Remember we read that in 1 Maccabees 1. They joined unto the heathen, right? They said, let us go to the heathen and join them because we've had much sorrow. And then you had internal warfare amongst the Greeks because everybody was vying for power, and the Romans, because the Romans was trying to take the Greeks out of power before it was their time to rule. All right, so you had a lot of that going on. They was kidnapping each other, assassinating each other, and everything. That's that deep history when you check out what was going on during the Maccabean period. All right? So understand that when you're reading, you're going to run across all that history. All right, of that. It was deep, heavy. All right, internal warfare during that Maccabean period of time on all sides. Damn near nobody could trust nobody. That's how bad it was when you get deep into the history of what was going on during the Maccabees. You know, we gave it to you on the surface so you can just understand what the feast is mainly about, but it's deep history behind this period, like all times in history. All right, go ahead.
Verse 33 from the top. Moreover, I freely set at liberty every one of the Jews that will carry captives out of the land of Judea into any part of my kingdom, and I will that all my officers remit the tributes even of their cattle. Furthermore, I will that all the feasts and Sabbaths and new moons and solemn days and the 3 days before the feast,
3 days before the feast, go ahead,
and the 3 days after the feast shall be all days of immunity, and freedom for all the Jews in my realm.
So this was another king that had rose up, King Demetrius, amongst the Greeks. He was fighting for power over the Seleucid kingdom also. So he was trying to get on Israel's side. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. Right. He was trying to get on Israel's side against the Antiochian line because they were fighting for the kingship in Syria. All right, so he said, let me get the Israelites on my side, and they're going to help me overthrow the Antiochian rule, and we're going to have the kingship. It was Edomites fighting against Edomites. Right. So that was going on also. Okay? All right, so, but during that time, Demetrius said, even though he was a Greek, he knew the feast days and high holy days of Israel. He knew those were special to us. So he said, if I give them 3 days before they feast and 3 days after they feast to prepare and chill and celebrate, they're going to come on my side because they love their feast. They love their new moons. All right, so that's what was going on back there. Show you the heathens know our feast days. All right, Esau know, you know what I'm saying? They got control of the calendar and everything. They got, signs of the times and all that. They read the heavens and all that. All right, they know about the dark moon, the different phases of the moon. They know, and they know what it meant to us as a nation. All right?
So just to be clear, on the new moons, do we treat that just like the Sabbath?
Yeah, new moon is a Sabbath. Yeah.
No work, no...
And the only exception is cooking, because it's a feast. You can cook, because it's a feast. But no work, no buying, selling, if you can. All right, if you can avoid it. All right, don't be over righteous either. You know what I'm saying? If you can avoid it, try not to. But if not, don't go. If you park somewhere, it's free parking here, right?
Yeah.
But if you parked in a parking lot where you gotta pay, don't run through the barricade and say I'm not gonna pay because it's the Sabbath. You know what I'm saying? Don't be simple, man. Now it's a Sabbath fire. Go through the back, and then they got you a camera. The police come to look for you. Your car gonna get taken. Your license gonna get jacked up, all because you was keeping the Sabbath. Don't be simple. All right. Try to avoid buying and selling as much as you can. I'm gonna hit you something. If you buying, concerning the feast, you can. Because you're doing it for the feast. Matthew 12:12, Yahweh Shah said it's lawful to do well on the Sabbath. So don't be
Righteous as
you know
hell.
what I'm saying? Right? Don't crash your car through the parking lot and say, I'm not going to pay. I was parked here for 6 hours. The bill is $15. I'm not paying because it's the Sabbath. Okay? And crash your damn car through the barricade being over righteous, man. All right, go ahead. Right? Or sit there till the next day sundown. Yo, Israel is bugged, but I can tell y'all some stories, man. Yeah, man. I'm going to sleep in my car till sundown tomorrow. And then I'm going to pay. The damn bill going to be like $100 then.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? For one day, parking a whole day to go. Don't be simple, Israel. All right? So, read on. No, that's it on that. 33 and 34. They kept the new moon, and the heathen knew the new moon was near and dear to us during the time of the Maccabees also.
Right.
Colossians 2:16-17, bring it on home. Everybody can eat, drink, and be merry. It's a little late, but y'all ain't going nowhere tomorrow. All right, y'all ain't going nowhere. Colossians 2:16. They answer. They gonna have all the energy in the world once the prayers is over. Everybody gonna be on damn 10. Everybody gonna be on 10. Service going on. Oh boy, the elder getting another scripture.
I'm used to it now.
You know what I'm saying? Soon as the service, everybody hype.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Come on! Right? Yeah, sister, who that head rap? Yeah, you, sister. You all goddamn hype then, all right? But anyway, yeah. God. All right. The word could never be boring because it's knowledge. Right?
This, I think, is different for us.
Yeah.
We get to read it.
God.
Everybody else can listen.
God. All right. But anyway, let's close that out. Colossians 2:16.
Come on.
Shammai. Read.
This is the book of Colossians, chapter 2, verse 16. It says, let no man therefore judge you in meat or in drink or in respect of an holy day.
Now y'all know, there's a spirit that came in Israel. The doctrine resurfaced of we're not under the laws of Moses. We're under the laws of Christ, and you don't have to do certain things. If you keep the feast and different things, you're actually in sin. But Ecclesiastes 1:9 tells you there's nothing new under the sun. That doctrine is about 23 years old. When I came into school in One West, it had surfaced then in 1994. And the same brothers that believe in that, no disrespect to them, because some of them are elders that go back to the old school, and I have nothing against them brothers personally. I will never disrespect them. It's just that's what they teaching now. But this is one of the scriptures that's used from a Christian standpoint, and it's now in Israel. But when you understand the history, there was a group called Judaizers during the time of Paul, and they were trying to say you can't be saved unless you go by the strict law of Moses. And Paul was saying, no, that's why Yahweh Shah died, so we can have that mercy now. Does that mean we still don't try to keep the law? Am I to steal from you, kill you, sleep with your woman, lie on you? No. I am not to do that. I'm still to obey those laws. All right? But brothers feel like no man could judge you in meat or in drink or in respect of a holy day. So now brothers saying you can eat swine.
Yeah.
You don't have to keep the feast days. You don't have to keep the Sabbath. You don't have to wear fringes. If you keep the feast, you're actually sinning.
Yeah.
And I don't see that. I do not see that anywhere. Brother gonna say, see, because the Spirit of Christ ain't opened up to you yet, brother. That's why you can't see it. You know what I'm saying? All right, yeah. And that doctrine comes from Christianity.
Yep.
Exactly.
I won't even go. Literally.
Right. Literally. Yeah.
I won't even go into it now, but
Really?
the history of how that doctrine came into Israel, it was a Christian influence from the actual Christian churches. I never heard it myself. I never heard it out of anybody's mouth, but I heard certain of those brothers that brought the doctrine said they made a statement that the Christians was right the whole time. Yeah. We don't have the Spirit of Christ. We just got the spirit of condemning.
Oh, goodness.
You know, so, you know, I want to stay with this right understanding. What the Spirit is showing me is the right understanding.
That's right.
I just tell brothers I don't agree with that.
Yeah.
So, you know, there is no law of Moses or no law of Christ when you really look at it as the laws of the Most High.
Right.
That he gave to Moses and Yahweh.
Right.
And Yahweh is the law.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So who was talking to Moses in the wilderness? That was Yahweh. And that was all from the Moses. That's simple stuff. That's elementary. That's kindergarten, first grade.
Yep.
That's trooper program for us back when we was back in school in 94.
Exactly.
We learned that in trooper program.
That's right.
Right.
And the scripture said that
Right.
basically Yahweh said he's not here to destroy the law,
Right.
but to fulfill. That right there,
5:17.
you know.
That's a classic.
It's just
Yeah.
That's a classic. So, that's it on that. Read that again. Colossians 2:16.
the book of Colossians chapter 2 verse 16. Let no man therefore judge you in meat or in drink or in respect of an holy day or of the new moon or of the Sabbath days.
It's dirty.
Verse 17, close it out, which are a shadow of things to come,
They are a shadow of things to come. Go ahead.
but the body is of Christ.
Right. So brothers use that also. Like that's just a shadow of what's to come. So you're saying the law was in effect. Now we're not under the law, and then the law gonna be put back
Right.
when the Christ comes. No, that don't make sense.
Yeah.
Because if he was to abolish the law, then we wouldn't have to do the law in the kingdom.
Right.
All right, we would say we're not under Christ's law either in the kingdom. Why would he bring us the law through Moses, only for him to take away the law and then reestablish it in the kingdom? So my point being, and it's not even so much with the brothers that, you know, believe whatever. You know, this goes back to the Christians. I remember the Christians used to always bring this scripture up in the camp. Years ago, we used to battle the Christians on this scripture. But you got to know the history. Paul, he was dealing with overzealous Israelites at the time. They were known as Judaizers. And they were saying, except you keep the letter of the law, you can't be saved. You can't serve the Most High. And Paul was like, no, we're under mercy right now. You still do the law, but when you fall short, that's when Yahweh died for us. All right? To give you that mercy, that grace, you know, so that you don't be forsaken. All right? What you got?
Simple. It's Matthew chapter 23 verse 2. This is Christ. It says, saying the scribes and the Pharisees sit in Moses' seat, all therefore whatsoever they bid you observe, that observe and do, but do not ye after their works, for they say and do not. So you got to keep the law.
Yeah, that's out of Yahweh's mouth right there. Start at verse 1. That's out of Yahweh's mouth.
Right. It's the book of Matthew chapter 23, starting at verse 1. Then spake Yahushua to the multitude and to his disciples, saying, the scribes and the Pharisees sit in Moses' seat.
They said where?
In Moses' seat.
The scribes and the Pharisees sit in Moses' seat because what? Moses gave us the law.
Right.
All right, come on.
All therefore whatsoever they bid you observe, that observe and do.
Yahweh just told us to keep the law of Moses. Right, go ahead. This is simple stuff like the brother said. Right, but see, that'd be a whole another 2 hours.
Right.
But brothers already don't want to keep the law.
Right.
That's what it is.
So the Most High put a stumbling block in front of them. He puts a stumbling block. Because if you can't see something simple like that, or you're going to say it means something else, you didn't want to keep the law in the first place.
Exactly.
Right.
Go ahead, teach.
And none of of us is keeping the law perfectly. Oh, that's a contradiction. No. But Paul spoke about sinning willfully.
Right.
I come in your house, oh, here's $100 sitting right there.
Right.
Ain't nobody looking.
Right.
Yo, you know, ain't no law. I ain't steal nothing. Huh, that's that man's money, man. I don't give a damn if it's sitting by the doorstep. It ain't mine. It's in his house.
Right.
Unless I dropped it. That's my money. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But you know what I'm saying? And even then, I drop it and you,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Elder, you see? You know what I'm saying? Ain't no law. I ain't steal from him. Come on, brother. You know what I'm saying? So there's a balance in that. That whole dynamic of the new commandment under H.O.I, you got to really understand what that's dealing with. Because John, in 1 John, it tells you, which is not a new commandment, but the old.
Right.
What do you mean? Is it old or new? Is it a contradiction? No. John is saying it's new, but it's old. You understand? It's always been there.
Right.
That's why we had the mercy seat. See, now we want to go into another
Whatever.
hour lesson, man. You know what I'm saying? But it's always been all that stuff can be broken down and explained. And when it happened, I didn't even really touch it because so many other brothers was doing so many videos. Sakari and these brothers and so many different camps was like, going into that showing Israel, nah, it don't mean we're not supposed to keep the law. Certain brothers in H.O.I, brothers in other different camps, they was bringing the right understanding on it. I was like, the work is done already. Brothers done went back and forth through that thing. Give me some of them precepts, huh? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Then we touched on it because people was asking us about it, so we went into it and we left it alone after that. But don't always follow what you originally see in the spirit now. Because a lot of times when people come to you and talk about how to show you something new, not all the time. It could be a new revelation or understanding or another level. The scriptures got levels too. It can mean this, it can mean that, it can mean something when you look at it deeper, and they all the same. There's different angles to look at it through the spirit too. But a lot of times, watch out. All right, so that's that. All praise to Yahweh and H.O.I. Hope y'all enjoyed the service. If you learned one thing, we've done our job. Just as an encouragement, Israel, put your spirit into it. Come and serve the Most High with a willing heart and a willing mind. Don't make it something forced or a burden to you. And always stay in the spirit. Right? And take this thing serious because we're approaching the end.
That's right.
And you want to be on the right side with the Most High in the H.O.I. All right? Come here, Shabbat.
Come here, Shabbat.
All right, so we're going to get ready to pray out. And, you raising your hand?
Me?
No.
Every new moon, every new moon is a new month, right?
Yeah, once a month.
Yep.
The new moon actually brings in the new month. Okay?
Khan.
So when you have a new moon, it's a new month. Okay?
Khan.
So whenever you reach a new moon, always rejoice. When you see another day, rejoice. When you see a new moon, rejoice because you made it through a whole month. Okay? For that simple way you can look at it, but it's so powerful. Yeah, now you wake up every morning, thank the Most High for another day. New moon, I made it a whole month. And this crazy kingdom and empire. Okay? Come here, Shabbat. So let's close it out. All right, brother, gonna blow the shofar. We're gonna pray and close it out. I didn't tell everybody to stand yet, but smell that goddamn chicken. Imagine we're praying. Ya Yerusalem, stand and face Jerusalem or the east. All right, four corners. Hallelujah.
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 Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Hashem.
Hashem.
Mashiach.
Mashiach.
Yahweh Shai.
Yahweh Shai.
Raknawa.
Raknawa.
Vaishala.
Vaishala.
Wahabiyah Sapaya.
Wahabiyah Sapaya.
Shema.
Shema.
Yasharallah.
Yasharallah.
Yahweh.
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 Hear, O Israel, Yahweh our power, Yahweh is one. Deuteronomy 6 verse 4. Credo of Israel. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Sisters, come up to get anointed. I still haven't figured it out. I'm supposed to make a line in front. You start over there and work your way down. That's all the sisters?
Yes.
Shemai, Shemai. You still in prayer mode. Anointed prayer number 6, 22 to 27. We're going to pray over y'all. Ask the Most High at this time to bless you, watch over you, anything you're going through, affliction, family issues, health, anything in your life going on, anything you need help with, work-wise, financially, relationship, marriage, whatever the case may be. Now is the time to ask the Most High to help you in those areas and anything else going on in your life. On a regular basis, and as the service of the Lord pray over y'all, you should ask for these things. We're going to do the anointed prayer. We go from right to left. When we get you, you say your name 3 times. Come ahead. Yeah, say your name 3 times, we repeat it, and we move on down the line. Brothers, please, quiet. While we anoint the sisters, have some respect. We still in prayer mode. All right. Yahweh and Kadash, repeat after me. We only 3 saying the prayer. Y'all just meditate as when we finish and point. Start with Sister Yah. We go right to left. Say your name 3 times and repeat it. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Anointed prayer number 6, 22 to 27. Yabaraki Yahweh,
Yabaraki Yahweh,
Vayashamaka,
Yashima'ika,
Ya'al Yahweh,
Ya'al Yahweh,
Bun Yahweh,
Ban Yahweh,
Al Yakar,
Alika,
Vayakanka,
Ayakanka,
Yasha'al Yahweh,
Yashai Yahweh,
Bun Yahweh,
Ban Yahweh,
Al Yakar,
Alika,
Vayashamlaka,
Vayishamika,
Shalom,
Shalom,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Vashim,
Ba'ashim,
Hamashiach,
Hamashiach,
Yahushai,
Yahushai,
Bokushah,
Baruch
Shemai,
Shemai,
Nawa,
Nawa,
Aitha,
Aitha,
Shalak,
Shalak,
Micah,
Micah,
Alahayim,
Alahayim,
La,
La,
Shema'il,
Shema'il,
Barak,
Barak,
Rapal,
Rapal,
Azar,
Azar,
Magun,
Ragun,
Kazak,
Kazak,
Atazayal,
Atazayah,
Wawa,
Bawa,
Yasala, 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 Hammond, Cameron, Cameron, Shannon, 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 Ada, 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 Mila, Mila, Mila,
Angela,
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 Angela, Mila, Raylan, 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 Zakara, 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 Zanai, 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 Zamora, Zamora, Zamora,
Zara,
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 Katharia,
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 Katharia, Ko,
Ko,
Akim,
Akim,
Ko,
Ko,
Akwafim,
Abatim,
Ko,
Ko,
Bunyam,
Bunyam,
Yashala,
Yashala,
Bashim,
Ba'ashim,
Hamashiach,
Hamashiach,
Yahushai,
Yahushai,
the water,
the water,
Yah,
Yah,
Avalum,
Avalum, Amen.
Hallelujah,
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 Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Akim, brothers, sisters, please, please, please. Let's have some peace and quiet. Hold your head up. Let's have peace and quiet. We're still in the prayer mode while we're anointing the brothers. Brothers, when you get your oil, make a line going straight down. Go. Just go. Hold your head up so it don't drip. Alright. Same thing, anointing prayer. Brothers, just make a straight line right here. Facing us. A straight line facing us. Not hard. If you come right here. Form everybody into a straight line. Carly. Facing us. Back up. Evenly.
Come.
Good. Alright. Anointing prayer, same thing. Brothers, ask the Most High, whatever you're going through, struggling with, ask the Most High, watch over you, help you with, make you better, strong in the spirit, better father, brother, all around man of the Most High, husband, warrior for this truth. And just anything you might be going through, struggling with, Now is the time to ask the Lord to help you with that in your daily prayers and as we anoint you also. Okay? We say the prayer, we finish, same thing, start right to left with Rob Judah. Say your name 3 times, we repeat it. You receive your blessing from Yahweh Yahushua. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Yabaraki Yahweh.
Baraki Yahweh.
Yashamaka.
Yahweh.
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 Panyawa.
Yahweh.
Ayaka.
Ayaka.
Ayakanka.
Ayakanka.
Yasha Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Panyawa.
Panyawa.
Ayaka.
Ayaka.
Yashamlaka.
Yashamlaka.
Shalom.
Shalom.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Bashim.
Bashim.
Hamashiach.
Hamashiach.
Yahushai.
Yahushai.
Yahushua. Shemai.
Shemai.
Nawa.
Nawa.
Haitha. Shalak. Ma'ala. Malahayim. La. Shemahayo. Barak. Paul. Isaiah. Magun. Kazak. Hatabiyah. Bawa. Rob Judah. Rob Judah. Rob Judah.
Tobiah.
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 Tobiah. Yahshua. 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 Rashad. 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 Carson. 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 Kyrie. Kyrie. Kyrie.
Joseph.
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 Zakari.
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 Kadash.
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 Yahweh.
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 Yahweh. Zabak.
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 Ko.
Ko.
Akim.
Akim.
Ko.
Ko.
Akwafim.
Awafim.
Ko.
Ko.
Bunyam.
Bunyam.
Yashala.
Yashala.
Ba'ashim.
Ba'ashim.
Mashiach.
Mashiach.
Yahusha.
Yahusha.
Wada.
Wada.
Yah.
Yah.
Adonai.
Adonai. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Face the east again. Sister stand, pray for the food and the drink. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Hashem.
Hashem.
Mashiach.
Mashiach.
Yahushai.
Yahushai.
Yahushua.
Yahushua.
Barak.
Barak.
Mahakol.
Mahakol.
Nawa.
Nawa.
Shaddai.
Shaddai.
Nawa.
Nawa.
Yayan.
Yayan.
Nawa.
Nawa.
Kazak.
Kazak.
Shaddai.
Shaddai.
Nawa.
Nawa.
Barak.
Barak.
Nawa.
Nawa.
Kad.
Kad.
Kanakah.
HANUKKAH.
Barak.
Barak.
Nawa.
Nawa.
Kad.
Kad.
Kadash.
Kadash.
Yurak.
Yurak.
Barak.
Barak.
Nawa.
Nawa.
Rum.
Rum.
Yawamyam.
Yawamyam.
Bashar.
Bashar.
Hashim.
Bashim.
Mashiach.
Mashiach.
Yahushua.
Yahushua.
The water.
Water.
Yah.
Yah.
Hallelujah.
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 Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Blessed O Most High Yahweh Bashim Mashiach Yahushua. Please bless the food and the drink that we're about to receive. Bless the new moon service, 10th month. Bless the 6th night of Hanukkah. Thank you, Lord, for allowing us to come in fellowship in Las Vegas with our brothers and sisters. Bring us stronger. Let us do more in the future to serve you. Give us wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, patience, and diligence to teach your word and survive in these last days until you give us your kingdom. Bring down Esau on the nations and uplift and bless Israel forever and ever. If it be thy will. Shema Mashiach Yahushua. Bring down Esau on the nations and give us the kingdom soon, Most High. The water, the yard, Avalum. Hallelujah.
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 Good. Brothers, turn to the sisters. Salute each other. Akim Yasha'Allah, salute the sisters of Israel. Abajah. Barak. Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Hashem.
Hashem.
Mashiach.
Mashiach.
Yahushua.
Yahushua.
Shema.
Shema.
Atan.
Atan.
Sisters, right hand over your chest. Yahweh. Hashem. Mashiach. Yahushua. Shema. Thumb. Most High in the name of Yahushua, watch over y'all, and that's the same thing to us. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Sisters, be seated. I can turn, circle up. Men of Israel, salute one another. Imagine. Barak. Yahweh Hashem Yahushua Rakatham.
Yahweh Hashem Yahushua Rakatham.
Kwam Yashala.
Kwam Yashala.
Kwam Yashala.
Kwam Yashala.
Kwam Yashala.
Kwam Yashala.
Who got next?
We got next.
Who got next?
We got next.
Who got next?
We got next.
For how long?
Forever.
For how long?
Forever.
For how long?
Forever.
What we gonna do?
Take the kingdom.
What we gonna do?
Take the kingdom.
What we gonna do?
Take the kingdom.
When?
Now.
When?
Now.
When?
Now.
How?
By Hashem HaMashiach Yahushua.
How?
By Hashem HaMashiach Yahushua.
Damn it, how?
By Hashem HaMashiach Yahushua.
Kwam Yashala.
Kwam Yashala.
Good.
God.
H.O.I.
To the chariots fly.
H.O.I.
To the chariots fly.
H.O.I.
To the chariots fly.
By Hashem.
By Hashem. Mashiach. Yahushua.
Kwam Yashala.
Kwam Yashala.
Shalom.
Shalom.
God. Everybody repeat. Ashar.
Ashar.
Kadash.
Kadash.
Yarak.
Yarak.
Ashar.
Ashar.
Right hand. Ashar.
Ashar.
Hanukkah.
Hanukkah.
Happy Hanukkah. Happy New Moon, 10th month. Happy Hanukkah, 6th day, 6th night. Hallelujah. All praise to Allah. Once again, good everybody made it. Glad y'all made that sacrifice, came out to Vegas. Let's continue to do this more in the spirit. Let's lock in more. Let's be more sincere. And, let's come here with a willing spirit and to do the work of the Most High and serve Him and to learn. I want more of you brothers, man, to start being up here, holding it down. And I can sit back and let y'all do the service, man. And just make sure y'all ain't bringing no doctrines out. You know what I'm saying? I'll be sitting right here on the side. Hold up, Doc. Break that down right. But I want to bring y'all brothers more up to speed. Because we got to do this work, man. Don't run too fast and start going off and thinking you know everything and breaking stuff down wrong. But we want to build brothers up, man, so you can get out there and start doing this work on a higher level too, and lead in things while we move on to conquer other ground. Okay? So we got to leave brothers behind to keep this torch going, and we going and conquering other ground. Right, Khan?
Khan.
So enjoy.
All right.
Everybody, whoever's leaving tomorrow, safe travels.
Thank you.
And eat, drink, and be merry. Shalom.
You want to close it out?
Sorry for the late night, but y'all ain't going nowhere tomorrow. Right? Shalom. Kwam Yashala. We still got next. Hallelujah. All praise to the Most High. Yahushua. H.O.I. to the chariots fly. Hanukkah 2020. New Moon 10th month. Hanukkah 6th day. Hope you enjoyed the service, Israel. If you learned one thing tonight, we've done our job. Kwam Yashala.
Kwam Yashala.
Shalom.
Shalom.